Heart Walk today. Find your local Heart Walk at heartwalk.org.
You're listening to KGUM-FM Dedido, Wave 105.1 FM, the Talk of Guam, a proud Glimpses media radio station.
AP News, I'm Ed Donahue. Kentucky Republican Senator Rand Paul's committee voted to hold Dr. Anthony Fauci in contempt of Congress over his refusal to answer questions at a hearing on his handling of the COVID-19 pandemic.
Many of these questions can be answered only by Dr. Fauci. He answered none of them. There will be another pandemic. The time to determine which legislative reforms are necessary to ensure that the mistakes of the past are not repeated is now, not later.
The vote sets up a referral to the Justice Department for potential investigation. Fauci's attorney says it's part of Paul's vendetta against the longtime infectious disease specialist. Connecticut Democrat Richard Blumenthal says Fauci did get a pardon from former President Biden.
Well, he has no pardon for anything he does or says after January of 2025. So the idea that somehow he's covered by a pardon in these proceedings is absolutely mythical.
Fauci's attorney also says Paul is abusing his power by trying to weaponize the Justice Department. The FDA has approved a new flu vaccine
for older people, the first made with the same mRNA technology that was key to ending the COVID-19 pandemic. Moderna says the FDA granted full approval for Inclusiva's use in people ages 50 to 64 based on a study of 40,000 people that found 27% fewer flu cases among people who got the new shot compared with those who got a different common flu vaccine brand. Vaccines made with mRNA technology are faster to produce than other types of flu vaccines. I'm Lisa Dwyer.
Prosecutors in Israel have charged a settler with the killing of a Palestinian activist last year in the West Bank. On Wall Street, oil prices are higher and stocks are lower. More information at apnews.com. This is AP News. Support for FIFA's president is wavering.
FIFA has said it is sorry for mistakes that were made over Gianni Infantino's failed plan to sell stakes in the World Cup, and that senior staff still supports the FIFA president. The reaffirmation of support for Infantino was announced by top officials at an emergency meeting in Morocco. World Soccer's governing body attempted to present a unified front with calls for him to step down. The show of support comes a day after Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney publicly claimed a lack of faith in the FIFA head.
But certainly I don't have confidence in Mr. Infantino after this point, given what transpired.
Carney said Infantino committed a fatal governance failure by not consulting senior advisors, including FIFA's chief operating officer and board members. I'm Karen Shamas.
I'm Ed Donahue, AP News.
It all connects. The girl who walks for hours to bring home the family's water, the school she can't attend most days, the breakfast she didn't have, the rain that hasn't fallen in months, the danger around the next bend, her little brother's belly laugh, her mother's hug, her dreams of being a teacher, an engineer, the mayor. All the reasons life is both so hard and so beautiful. It all connects. But so do we, for children's sakes. At Child Fund, we connect through everything we do, together, so every child can grow up healthy, educated, and safe. Because we need each other. Learn more at childfund.org.
As a parent, you said you'd never give up the convertible.
Look, the van even has its own vacuum.
You said you'd never stop listening to your music.
Do your happy dance, do your happy dance, yeah.
You said you'd never schedule your life around a stuffed animal.
Nobody panic. Bun Bun is still at daycare.
You said you'd never give in to demands.
2 kids' meals. And a chocolate shake.
And never put them in harm's way.
I'll be right back, little man. Just gonna pop in the store for diapers.
But never happens. And no amount of time is okay to leave your child in a car by themselves.
Long line today.
Temperatures as low as 60 degrees can be deadly for children left behind. So always bring them with you every time you park the car. Stop, look, lock. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Good morning, Guam. Half a day, everyone, and welcome back. Mornings with Patti. This is the Wave 105 FM. It's about 6:05. It is a Friday morning, August 7th. Streaming live and online at thewave105.com, as well as our YouTube channel. That's Wave 105.1 FM Guam. And the show this morning is being brought to you by our friends at Subway, where you can eat fresh in just a few clicks. Order online at subwaypacific.com for pickup at your convenience or for delivery right at your doorstep. Online ordering at subwaypacific.com. It's powered by Good to Go. We deliver at Subway. You gotta refresh to be fresh. Bank Pacific, where others place branches, we place roots. Visit bankpacific.com today. GTA, we start with you. Mobile gas stations turn every fuel stop into rewards with Mobile Smiles. Download the app today for exclusive offers and faster rewards at the pump. Mobile Smiles, fuel up and save. Take Care Insurance Company, Our Island, Your Health Plan. Triple J Auto Group. It's big deals on wheels at Triple J Ford. Save thousands off retail and drive home a new Ford F-150 starting at just $39,995. Visit Triple J Ford today. Customers first. Shop, dine, and relax at the Agania Shopping Center, your destination for food, fun, and local favorites all year long. Patch Tinting and Detailing for all your special interior cleaning. Call 483-7522. Code 1 Store is your tactical shop for public safety and everyday gear, serving Guam since 1999. Shop 511 Tactical and Condor Outdoor, plus steel-toe footwear. Stop by Code 1 Store today. And Chili's Grill and Bar. At Chili's, more life, great food, and memories happen here. Good morning, Guam, and welcome back. It's Mornings with Patti. This is the Wave 105 FM.
Many of our U.S. veterans and service members face challenges: mental health struggles, housing obstacles, employment, food insecurity, and social isolation, to name just a few. I'm Bob Woodruff. My family and I started the Bob Woodruff Foundation in 2006 after I sustained a life-threatening injury while reporting from Iraq. Our service members had my back that day, and we need to have theirs now more than ever. At the Bob Woodruff Foundation, we raise awareness about the tough challenges veterans and military families face and invest in solutions to help support them in the next chapter of their lives. And with one solution comes the next. We solve a housing situation, we increase employment opportunities. We solve employment problems, we address food insecurity. We solve food insecurity, we impact physical and mental health issues. Learn more about our work at bobwoodrufffoundation.org/success.
So, what's your idea of a 10?
I love guys who don't text and drive.
Girls that wait until they're parked to text? Bro, instant 10.
I don't know, but I got the ick when I went out with this boy who texted about driving.
10s wait to send. Eyes on the road, not your phone.
Don't drive distracted. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
We are all for first-time guests and longtime friends. All for First Light and Starlight. For road trips and trail runs. All for mountaintops and monuments. River bends and battlefields. We're all for showing up and giving back. To protect, to preserve, to pass it on. All parks depend on us, and we're all for parks. Join us at nationalparks.org/allforparks.
How serious is youth vaping? Irreversible lung damage serious. 1 in 10 kids vape serious, which warrants a serious conversation from a serious parental figure like yourself. Not the seriously know-it-all sports dad or the seriously smart podcaster. It requires a serious conversation that is best had by you. No, seriously. The best person to talk to your child about vaping is you. To start the conversation, visit talkaboutvaping.org. Brought to you by the American Lung Association and the Ad Council.
A message from Joshua Jackson, actor and Fair Volunteer Ambassador.
Food allergy is a serious, life-threatening disease that impacts over 33 million Americans. When your immune system sees certain food proteins as a threat, every bite matters. But here's the good news. There have been advancements in the treatment of food allergies, and with one voice, we can create better awareness. Because in the FAIR community, the disease doesn't own us. We own our journey. Talk to an allergist to understand your options. Visit foodallergy.org/empower to learn more.
Our critically injured veterans and first responders are left behind every day because of inadequate wheelchairs. That's why Wheelchairs for Warriors is on a mission to serve America's heroes across the nation and provide them with custom-fit wheelchairs tailored to fit their needs, to ensure they're rejoining their lives at the highest level of independent mobility and function possible. From lightweight daily use chairs or adaptive sports chairs to all-terrain wheelchairs to get these warriors outdoors. Wheelchairs for Warriors serves those who served us. To join their mission, visit their website at wheelchairsforwarriors.org.
Why be at the forefront of childhood cancer research? At St. Jude, we do it because every innovation we make is a moment we give to children with cancer everywhere. But we can't do it without you. Help St. Jude give children with cancer more moments. Moments that can last a lifetime. Learn more at stjude.org.
Introducing the all-new Subway Wraps. Now you can make any footlong a wrap. Light, delicious, and satisfying without weighing you down. Subway Wraps make fueling your day easier than ever with bold flavors and fresh ingredients. Try the cheesy garlic steak wrap today. Subway, eat fresh, feel good.
Kashilas Experience is almost here, bringing family fun, entertainment, and giveaways. Follow Kashilas Guam on Facebook or Instagram for details. Something exciting is coming soon.
It all connects. The girl who walks for hours to bring home the family's water, the school she can't attend most days, the breakfast she didn't have, the rain that hasn't fallen in months, the danger around the next bend, her little brother's belly laugh, her mother's hug, her dreams of being a teacher, an engineer, the mayor. All the reasons life is both so hard and so beautiful. It all connects. But so do we, for children's sakes. At Child Fund, we connect through everything we do, together, so every child can grow up healthy, educated, and safe. Because we need each other. Learn more at childfund.org.
As a parent, you said you'd never give up the convertible.
Look, the van even has its own vacuum.
You said you'd never stop listening to your music.
Do your happy dance, do your happy dance, yeah.
You said you'd never schedule your life around a stuffed animal.
Nobody panic. Bun Bun is still at daycare.
You said you'd never give in to demands.
2 kids' meals and a chocolate shake.
And never put them in harm's way.
I'll be right back, little man. Just gonna pop in the store for diapers.
But never happens. And no amount of time is okay to leave your child in a car by themselves.
Long line today.
Temperatures as low as 60 degrees can be deadly for children left behind. So always bring them with you every time you park the car. Stop, look, lock. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Many of our U.S. veterans and service members face challenges: mental health struggles, housing obstacles, employment, food insecurity, and social isolation, to name just a few. I'm Bob Woodruff. My family and I started the Bob Woodruff Foundation in 2006 after I sustained a life-threatening injury while reporting from Iraq. Our service members had my back that day, and we need to have theirs now more than ever. At the Bob Woodruff Foundation, we raise awareness about the tough challenges veterans and military families face and invest in solutions to help support them in the next chapter of their lives. And with one solution comes the next. We solve a housing situation, we increase employment opportunities. We solve employment problems, we address food insecurity. We solve food insecurity, we impact physical and mental health issues. Learn more about our work at bobwooderfoundation.org/success.
So, what's your idea of a 10?
I love guys who don't text and drive.
Girls that wait until they're parked to text? Bro, instant 10.
I don't know, but I got the ick when I went out with this boy who texted about driving.
10s wait to send. Eyes on the road, not your phone.
Don't drive distracted. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
The views and opinions expressed on this program are those of the show hosts, guests, and callers, and do not necessarily reflect the views of the staff or management of Wave 105.1 FM, Glimpses Media, or our partners. We strive to provide quality, respectful, and engaging content, and we welcome you to participate in the conversation. Thank you for tuning in to Wave 105.1 FM. Enjoy the show.
Wave 105, the talk of Guam, a Glimpses of Guam radio station.
105.1 The Wave is the talk of Guam.
You ready? Who's ready for some of that good love? Count me out!
And you've got it tuned in to Mornings with Patti.
Come on! 1, 2. Good love, that's what I'm drinking. Let's sip it down, go without thinking. Good love, that's what I'm making. We'll break this house when it stops shaking. Come on, come on.
Come on now. I had to, yeah. I just figured that it would help you. You ever sorry, I'm using my comb. I'm using my comb to scratch my back. How weird. My back is like itching on one section I can't touch.
Oh, dude, you got to do it island style and rub it against the wall.
Well, I can't get up. I'd have taken off my shirt by now. You'd have been over here scratching my back is what you're avoiding right now.
If the comb is going to work, it's going to work, girl.
Comb is doing. I feel like my grandfather Arroyo. That's how he used to just like take those Navy issue combs. And he'd stand there and just dig this comb into his leather skin. My gosh. I feel like Grandpa right now.
Good gosh.
It's 19 minutes after 6 o'clock. We're so far having a very pleasant morning. It's nice and dry so far outside. Dice is having a minute. But I do want to get to a traffic situation only because there are people who are trying to make their way out of the north today, and there's a situation Dice will tell you about.
That is right. It's going to be coming around Estumbo this morning, Guam, so heads up along Route 3. We got north as well as southbound lanes are currently closed. We have ourselves an auto pedestrian crash.
Oh, boy. This is NCS where now?
NCS Dedido, Route 3, Artero Drive.
Okay, by Artero Drive. There is I'm not quite sure where in the route that is, but you do. If you're heading on that roadway at all, then you know exactly where that area is. Or even if you're coming up on it and you're wondering what is the holdup. Or that's your route that you're taking and you haven't yet got there. Take an alternative route, and you might have to just go all the way through Dedido and into Marine Corps Drive. Would that be
right now? It looks like they're rerouting them through Finneguyen, so they got to take that route on Artero Drive. So if you go through Finneguyen, that way you can hit East Sangsung Road easier.
Okay, got you. All right, yeah, okay. Well, wherever you know your village, man. You can't tell people they know all the roads. They know all the back roads on the way to get out. So we're not going to tell you where to go.
Yes.
You just figure it out. You figure it out because you all know. Follow the guy in front of you.
There you go. North and southbound guys.
If the guy in front of you is making a U-turn, follow him. If you don't know, if you don't know, you don't know.
But so they got GPD and emergency responders are on site.
Okay, we'll be keeping an eye on that one closely. In the meantime, we're just watching for all of the other hot spots around Guam. Okay. Yesterday was a cluster of a mess. Everything was flooding. They had a landslide on Nimitz Hill. This is just around the same area that they were having the memorial service for.
That's right.
Yeah, and that started at 10 o'clock in the morning, which was in the thick of whatever was sitting on top of us yesterday at 10 o'clock in the morning. It was thunder and lightning, and it was just really a sight. If you like weather like that, you're enjoying all of it. But if you don't like weather like that and you're on the roadways like me, then if you're within the sound of my voice, good for you for navigating through that, because that was something else. I mean, visibility was low. There was ponding everywhere. Of course, roads were closing. I can only imagine what Pago Bay looks like. Last night,
Okay.
it had closed down there. I just got it from another chat.
Right on.
That it was impassable. I don't know where that is now. We'll try and see if we can't find
Okay.
somebody to talk to
Right
us
on.
about that. But in the meantime, Jesse Alec, he said, give me a minute.
Okay.
Yeah,
I
everybody
got you.
needs a minute. It's early in the morning. I'm pretty sure he was out there in the rain. A lot of water-sopped people. I left here and ran straight to Barragata Church for a funeral. And when I got there, you could see it. It was like it was black clouds. It was hanging over Guam, and it was just swollen, it was ready to bust. And of course, just when I'd parked the car, and I put it in drive, the whole thing unleashed, and it was. It didn't take very long because I got into the church and paid my respects. And as me and my friend Vera were walking out the door, it just unleashed like the thunder and the lightning. And, here we are, two little biddies standing in the church with our, me with a half of an umbrella. We were soaked to the bone, just soaked. So all day, just soaked. It was so today I decided, okay, I'm not going to wear pants that are touching the ground. I'm going to wear something a little more protective.
There we go.
And there's no rain. I'm hot as hell. So,
Oh, no.
hey, man, it's Guam. Predict all you want,
It is.
Follow the weather to the nines if you want to. But, you have to be prepared to start taking clothes off, which is about ready to happen for me. But it's 23 minutes after 6 o'clock, and it's a Friday morning. Things are happening. Last real day of summer for these kids. Yes, if they're going back on Monday, this is the last day you'll be enjoy it. I mean, if you're just like, what do you call it again?
School's back in, guys. Let's go. Come on. I can hear the school bells ringing already. This is exciting.
What is the name? What is it called when you're rubbing your feet in your teeth?
Oh, yes. Crickets.
Yeah, crickets.
Yay!
Dice has got to move in bed. It's called crickets. Where she just like rubs her feet and her hands together. And it's that feeling like you're already snuggled in your bed.
That's good. That's me. Just me and Downey. That's
Yeah.
it. Hey, I miss my sheets.
Yeah. So, yesterday, I tell you, Sean, my kids love this kind of weather, unless we're outside.
This is their jam.
Yeah. It's just this weather where it's, it's just you're nestled in the house and it's cold outside. I had Maggie in with me in my room yesterday just because she was freaking out over the thunder and lightning. She didn't know what it was. So yes, there's nothing better than having a dog with with that seventh sense,
It's like, it's raining.
Yeah.
I want to come in now. It's like, let me in.
Yeah.
Now. The thunder's not on my side.
Okay, well, that didn't last very long.
Okay.
That road closure has now been canceled. It's open.
It's
already.
open now. Okay.
So that's good.
That's good. Thank you. Look how quick they are.
Well done.
That's why they're emergency responders. We love them.
I'm hoping that if it's any indication of this happened at 10 minutes to 6,
That's
right?
correct. Yes, ma'am.
This advisory went out, and now at 6:24. I'm hoping that the time to turn around the road, it means that there isn't severe injuries because it is an auto pedestrian crash.
God is
so.
good. God is good.
Thank you. Well,
right.
we hope to see that. We'll see where all the other hot spots are. But if you're in a hot spot already, give us a call at 922-1051 or 1052 and let us know what you're looking at. And that way we can hopefully get people away from that troubled area. But I don't think it's going to rain like it did today.
No.
Do you get that?
No, I don't. I'm not feeling that. I mean, they said it was going to last until Thursday. My predictions are going to go around 2 o'clock this afternoon that it should be clearing up. I'm hoping by 2 o'clock this afternoon we'll have more sun out, but we'll have to wait and see because Mother Nature, like you said, has been so unpredictable.
Tell you what, she's like,
who made her mad? I apologize.
She's a little iffy. Must be that.
She's just starting it all.
Yeah, it must be all that sunshine.
Are you seeing this in Washington? I mean, they got fires blazing. It's just crazy.
And then on the
right
other
now.
Washington and D.C. on that side, it's thunderstorms
wild.
right now too.
And then you have that. It's just crazy. We got rain, weather, earthquakes. Oh my gosh! And we got a warm one on line 2.
All right, let's go with it. Good morning, line 2.
Hi. Good morning.
Hey, good morning. How are you, sir? Welcome to the program.
Okay. It's a busy morning.
I bet it is. Let's talk about what happened in Nimitz Hill yesterday, because that's your turf. Nimitz Hill is part of Patti, or it is Patti.
Yeah.
So talk to us about what happened.
Part of Nimitz Hill, but that part was certainly part of Patti.
Okay, yeah, that was your part. Yeah.
So, the rains, right? We got that. That was crazy, first of all.
Yeah.
I mean, I think the parts of the village kind of just all flooded right away.
Mm-hmm.
And then I didn't really anticipate that hill to come down until I got a phone call. I was kind of worried more about the other flooding areas, and then that caught me a little by surprise. But DPW was quick to respond. GPD was great. Of course, there was. We typically have. I don't want to say typically, but when it happens, rocks fall from that hill.
Yeah.
But in this case, yesterday it was there were larger boulders, so that was a little more scary yesterday. And of course, the roads were closed for a little bit, so able to let motorists pass through. And so, thanks to GPD's quick response, and of course, thankful truly to DPW for coming out right away. They were able to take care of the large boulders and allow motorists to pass. So now they're working on. Oh, Patti.
What?
I forgot the word.
That's okay. Yeah, there. Well, I
They're
mean,
working on the-
no, there's so many hotspots. Let me divert and see whether or not something inspires you. But all along the coastline, and we see all along these cliff lines, we saw what happened in East Agania, and that has always opened our eyes, or situations of landslides opens our eyes, especially in that spot, that Guam has really got to do something about some kind of mitigation when it comes to cliff lines. They're like icebergs. I mean, eventually they're going to crack, right? And under the heavy weight, and especially when we have these seasonal rains, they're just being flooded, and so the ground the cliff gives way. Nimitz Hill, I would hate to see a landslide that large cut off that entire roadway, and God forbid, people who were there. But what is the larger plan when it comes to cliff line like mitigation from landslides?
So I have not seen a larger plan, and I think we kind of all agree that we should take advantage of CDBG-DR to address these issues, because you can certainly connect them to Mawar and all the other storms and whatever other heavy weather we have. And in our case in Patti, it's the hillside, and you're right, it's also the coastal areas. I mean, we're losing our property in both perspectives, right? The hill and the ocean.
Mm-hmm.
So I do know that. I know I've been in touch with DPR regarding the coastal area, that the properties that they own, and applying for CDBG-DR mitigation. And as late as yesterday, I've already spoken to DPW about the same approach, simply because there's there to at least address those needs probably sooner than any other funding source I could imagine.
Yeah.
Because there's a large chunk of money that can still be used, and we're not sure how much. I mean, they've extended the first round of applications to the end of the month, and so hoping we'll be able to include these areas in the grant application. Now, when you're talking island-wide, I think that's a big deal. Because you mentioned East Agania and everywhere else that has this potential problem. So I think this is where I'm saying we need to all work together to figure out how we could maximize the use of these opportunities that we get, whether it's CDBG-DR, FGIDA, through the governor's office. And if we could just work together with the municipal level leadership, then I think we can address these issues.
Yeah.
And I appreciate you talking about it because it worked when people start to vocalize it and people start to say, hey, what about this issue? What about this project? What about this concern? Simply because we don't know everything, and we don't have the answer to everything, and it's good to have this type of discourse.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, and it really is sort of incidental. This is the season for this kind of rain and this kind of weather. But this, to your point, the danger doesn't necessarily disappear when the rain starts. The rain stops, right? And landslides can occur at any time because these cliff lines are so swollen or they're so inundated with water. They're holding it together. When it happened with the Pacific Palisades, I tried to make a call for EPA and DPW and the other agencies within the government of Guam to sit down and as well as the military to sit down and talk about Guam's cliff lines, and because it really does feel like it's a matter of time. It was very unusual for that Pacific Palisades, for the Pacific Palisades to cave in the way it did. But that just, it's just to a larger story, and I don't know what that cost would be. But if anybody's not even talking about it, then we could probably be repeating this story for years. So.
Right, and can I just go ahead and extend that as well, that conversation, because that's what I'm saying about. And I don't know if it's you or Polly, but it could have been you. It could have been Polly because Polly loves to ask me about it. But I think that the issue with this is when it comes to the military buildup and the military money that we receive, this is precisely the point. My point is that Route 6 is used by JRM, by the Admiral.
Yeah.
Everybody, and those, it might not seem like a huge military issue, but it certainly is because that's their route, and they use it every day.
Every day to connect to Agana. Absolutely. I mean, the admiral leaving Flag Circle can go right, and he would get into and he wouldn't. The danger wouldn't be there. But definitely, it's a cutoff choke point for anything coming up from the south to the fastest way to Naval Hospital. That's for sure.
Naval Hospital, or to even Naval Base, right?
Base,
so that's my point. Is we need to address those issues with military money so that the locals as well are taken care of, and that's so. Coincidentally, there is a grant, and I want to thank the administration. I want to thank the people that lent it to us in a way, and I want to say it that way because we, Mayor's Council of Guam, we were a part of the pickings when it came to this grant from OCC, and we typically aren't. Because it typically goes to like the Port Authority or some larger entity that has other things to do. But in this case, this grant actually helps the communities prepare to welcome warfighters and their families.
Yeah,
and I was just waiting, and I'm so just ecstatic about it because we just had our first meeting last week with the grant with the contractors. And we'll be meeting again with other contractors for this huge grant that we've never ever received before, and so I'm truly excited about the opportunity to use this military build-up money, if I could say it that way, to really strengthen our communities. So I know we've morphed into different topics, but it all kind of works together.
Well, that's good. I mean, and every mayor has a stake in what happens with this buildup. If it's effective, you don't even have to be living on a borderline of a military base. Right? And this is a prime example. I mean, this Nimitz Hill roadway, like you said, is the quickest link for the Navy to meet into Agana or to the to that part of Guam, into central Guam, the fastest route to take. So it makes a lot of sense.
Right.
So today, is the road still closed, or were they? What do you do?
No,
you put up like a temporary barrier? I mean, what do you put up? Fishnet? I don't know how it works.
Yeah, you know, that was me. You're so funny. We could be friends. We could be really
yeah, but we
You know
wouldn't, together we would not make good leaders if we're like, hey, I know a mitigation plan. Let's put in some fishnet.
You know, after all of it was done, right? I don't want to say who it was, but you know, their leadership.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, you know, I really don't know what you're going to do to harden that, but do you put like a net?
Seems natural.
And I was like, well, you know, seriously, I'm really concerned. How are we hardening this? How are we going to make this secure? So just tell me what you want in your words. But in my words, you want to put a net up there.
Yeah, I know. It sounds like a great idea. But, I mean, this time, we're not just talking about sort of loose rocks and gravel. We're talking, you said a big boulder, like was... became dislodged.
Yeah. That definitely was the other side of the road. I mean, it actually was huge. So what it is they use the Jersey barriers to block the hillside. So the road is open. Actually, it was open yesterday, but there's just one lane that is closed for the work. And DPW will get back to me on what the next steps will be. But they did what they could do to clear the road and to add a little protection barrier there for motorists.
Yeah. Okay.
So it's passable, you know.
Okay, that's good.
But I also think that, and like I mentioned yesterday, those residents, the Nimitz Hill residents, they're kind of used to, you know, falling rocks there, so they know to look out for it, and hopefully there's a better solution so that it doesn't actually happen like yesterday. And it hasn't happened like that in a while, that big of a deal, but it certainly there's rocks that fall. I mean, you ask the older people, they know that ever since before anyone paid attention to that area.
Have the old timers up there seen that cliff line sort of receding over the years, like becoming smaller? Or
I don't think anyone has told me about it receding.
Yeah.
I just know that everybody knows rocks fall.
Yeah. Okay. Well.
Yeah.
And it's one specific part of that cliff
Section
line, right?
Of Route 6,
yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
So it's typically from right above Jose Rios Middle School to the entrance of Nimitz Hill Estate.
Okay. And the other, so it's on that side of Nimitz Hill, toward Patti, closer to Patti than Agana, or Maina.
That's correct.
Okay.
Correct.
All right. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's
for sure.
Okay. And so, God, what was the other question I was going to ask you about that? It's passable. Okay. I was going to ask you something else, and I can't remember what it was.
And it didn't happen. I mean, it of course, the memorial for the
that's what I was going to ask you.
Yesterday.
Yeah.
But it wasn't, it didn't hamper those, that ceremony. Everybody was, that's kind of on the opposite end.
Yeah.
And then in that way, you can come up from Asal Mahina as well.
Yeah.
And enter Turner Road. But I think most people may have already gotten up to the ceremony by then. If I could recall.
Yeah. Okay. And that ceremony also. I mean, were you there? Like, were you able
I was
to make
not able to attend this year. No, I wasn't too. I mean, we were in the middle of debris management when this all
no problem. I just
like,
know.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I just know that was probably a pretty windy and rainy situation.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Yesterday was just a horrible mess.
And then that area, you're up on the hill, further up in the hill, and it's not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not. It's
I
not
got
forgiving.
pictures from Ina Lee, so it looked like it worked out, but it certainly was. It was windy and rainy.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to try to get a hold of Wayne Santos to find out what Pago Bay looks like, because we just understood that there was some Pago Bay issues last night. Well,
you're right.
as usual, Pago Bay and Polaris Point, those are two areas that are going to be, something's going to happen.
Well, and that's another thing too, is flooding. I mean, that whole, we're seeing more flooding within the village areas. Barragata will have a lot of, Barragata will have a lot of residential flooding.
Yeah.
And, so it's flooding all around, and that's
Yeah, you just got to be
kind of
careful.
an issue.
You just
You
got to be
do.
careful. And plus, that some of these roadways, when it was white, it was a whiteout. I was at Barragata Church yesterday for a funeral, and when I was leaving, it's like, where is the best route to go? You know what I mean? You don't know where the best route is because some of the striping is not. So I'm thinking, where could I see the lines on the road? That's kind of where it's like,
Right.
Yeah,
Well,
and,
even with the striping, the restriping, and you get that type of monsoon weather. I mean, it's just difficult, especially when the water is, when you're deep in water. I think it's still difficult.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But the commutes yesterday were harrowing for some people. So just be careful on the roadways today. I don't think we're going to get the same kind of rain, but we will definitely see wet roads today. So
Well, I was going to ask if you've heard from the brothers. If I haven't seen anything, and we have a weather group chat.
We'll call the
and
brothers.
I haven't seen anything.
All right, the
Oh,
brothers.
yeah.
It is. We'll call the Dinga service and see what they say.
Dinga, there you go.
The Dinga service.
There you go.
Okay, Jesse, Alec, it's always a pleasure, my friend. Take good care. And be safe.
Take care.
We'll talk to you soon.
You too.
All
Adios.
right, 6:42. We're gonna go ahead and take a break. Get the Dingas on the
Get the
line.
boys. Let's
Okay,
find the
dial
boys.
up the Dingas.
We're calling.
We'll be back.
We are all for first-time guests and longtime friends. All for First Light and Starlight. For road trips and trail runs. All for mountaintops and monuments. River bends and battlefields. We're all for showing up and giving back. To protect, to preserve, to pass it on. All parks depend on us, and we're all for parks. Join us at nationalparks.org/allforparks.
Indeed, Guam. Half a day, everyone. Good morning and welcome back. Let's go ahead and hit the streets right now for your first look at your traffic report. It is being brought to you by Guam Auto Spot. You could schedule a test drive. All you got to do is give us a call at 478-AUTO. Or if you'd like to take a look at our inventory, you may also visit our website if you head to GuamAutospot.com. We did have our first traffic accident for this morning. It was along Route 3, Artero Drive in Dedido. Northbound and southbound lanes are now open, according to our friends at the Guam Police Department. So just a friendly advisory, guys. Let's watch our speed limit this morning and allow some braking distance between yourself and the cars in front of you. Taking a look at Route 3 right now, traffic is finally moving smoothly, getting around Estumbo. We got no delays there. It wraps all the way down towards Ukidu. It is beginning to pick up for our friends around that Jolly Bee intersection. That's going to be along Route 1 on Marine Corps Drive outside the Micronesia Mall. After that, Upper Tumon traffic is moving nicely. No delays there, as well as that Kmart intersection coming around the airport. That's going to be along Route 10A this morning. It looks like traffic is nice on that end, as well as South Marine Corps Drive. That's going to be coming along Tamuning this morning. Looking at Challenge San Antonio, traffic is moving nicely over on that end. Mong to Mighty is just as light. Great job, Guam, this morning. Let's continue to keep our eyes on the roads. No texting and driving. And remember, everyone, seatbelts are sexy. We are moving forward with your traffic report right here on the Wave 105 FM, and it's all being brought to you by Guam Auto Spot.
How serious is youth vaping? Irreversible lung damage serious. 1 in 10 kids vape serious, which warrants a serious conversation from a serious parental figure like yourself. Not the seriously know-it-all sports dad or the seriously smart podcaster. It requires a serious conversation that is best had by you. No, seriously, the best person to talk to your child about vaping is you. To start the conversation, visit talkaboutvaping.org. Brought to you by the American Lung Association and the Ad Council.
Our critically injured veterans and first responders are left behind every day because of inadequate wheelchairs. That's why Wheelchairs for Warriors is on a mission to serve America's heroes across the nation and provide them with custom-fit wheelchairs tailored to fit their needs to ensure they're rejoining their lives at the highest level of independent mobility and function possible. From lightweight daily use chairs or adaptive sports chairs to all-terrain wheelchairs to get these warriors outdoors. Wheelchairs for Warriors serves those who've served us. To join their mission, visit their website at wheelchairsforwarriors.org.
Why be at the forefront of childhood cancer research? At St. Jude, we do it because every innovation we make is a moment we give to children with cancer everywhere. But we can't do it without you. Help St. Jude give children with cancer more moments. moments that can last a lifetime. Learn more at stjude.org.
Introducing the all-new Subway Wraps. Now you can make any footlong a wrap. Light, delicious, and satisfying without weighing you down. Subway Wraps make fueling your day easier than ever with bold flavors and fresh ingredients. Try the cheesy garlic steak wrap today. Subway. Eat fresh, feel good.
Member FDIC. Haganya, get ready. Something big is coming to your neighborhood. A brand new Cost You Less experience is almost here, bringing family fun, entertainment, and giveaways. Follow Cost You Less Guam on Facebook or Instagram for details. Something exciting is coming soon.
It all connects. The girl who walks for hours to bring home the family's water, the school she can't attend most days, the breakfast she didn't have, the rain that hasn't fallen in months, the danger around the next bend, her little brother's belly laugh, her mother's hug, her dreams of being a teacher, an engineer, the mayor. All the reasons life is both so hard and so beautiful. It all connects. But so do we, for children's sakes. At Child Fund, we connect through everything we do, together, so every child can grow up healthy, educated, and safe. Because we need each other. Learn more at childfund.org.
As a parent, you said you'd never give up the convertible.
Look, the band even has its own backing.
You said you'd never stop listening to your music.
Do your happy dance, do your happy dance, yeah.
You said you'd never schedule your life around a stuffed animal.
Nobody panic. Bun Bun is still at daycare.
You said you'd never give in to demands.
2 kids' meals and a chocolate shake.
And never put them in harm's way.
I'll be right back, little man. Just gonna pop in the store for diapers.
But never happens. And no amount of time is okay to leave your child in a car by themselves.
Long line today.
Temperatures as low as 60 degrees can be deadly for children left behind. So always bring them with you every time you park the car. Stop, look, lock. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Many of our U.S. veterans and service members face challenges: mental health struggles, housing obstacles, employment, food insecurity, and social isolation, to name just a few. I'm Bob Woodruff. My family and I started the Bob Woodruff Foundation in 2006 after I sustained a life-threatening injury while reporting from Iraq. Our service members had my back that day, and we need to have theirs now more than ever. At the Bob Woodruff Foundation, we raise awareness about the tough challenges veterans and military families face and invest in solutions to help support them in the next chapter of their lives. And with one solution comes the next. We solve a housing situation, we increase employment opportunities. We solve employment problems, we address food insecurity. We solve food insecurity, we impact physical and mental health issues. Learn more about our work at bobwoodrufffoundation.org/success.
A message from Joshua Jackson, actor and Fair Volunteer Ambassador.
Food allergy is a serious, life-threatening disease that impacts over 33 million Americans. When your immune system sees certain food proteins as a threat, every bite matters. But here's the good news. There have been advancements in the treatment of food allergies, and with one voice, we can create better awareness. Because in the FAIR community, the disease doesn't own us. We own our journey. Talk to an allergist to understand your options. Visit foodallergy.org/empower to learn more.
Where the coffee is strong, the opinions are stronger, and the vibe is always local. Wave 105, Glimpses Media.
6:51 now. I gotta say, You got to really thank these folks who work these graveyard shifts, man. How they stay awake in the middle of the night like that. I mean, when it gets around 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, it's just like they're counting down to, I'm assuming they're all getting off at 6 o'clock, and then they get that second wind. But I went to a place this morning because Dice and I were actually... We have our, in the middle of the night, we have our options of what things that we want to have for breakfast. And lately, we've been eating pretty heartily. Well, we're eating well. We're eating well. We're eating good food. I mean, we're not eating burgers and fries at all. But we definitely, we have. I only say this because the lady at Denny's this morning was like the happiest human being I've ever seen.
Right.
She was like that. She was happy on the phone, and then she was happy when I got there, and I was like, "Are you just starting or are you ending?" Because nobody's this happy at 5 a.m,
Hey, you
right?
got to go to the airport. There's some friendly staff up there.
Well, this is true.
Hey,
well, airport
happy.
in the morning,
right?
Especially airport in the morning, you get them all. The human beings are fresh.
They're so bubbly. Yeah,
they're fresh.
They're fresh.
Yeah, the ones that are like they're getting ready to, they're not as fresh. You know what I mean? They're lagging a hair. It's like it's been a long day. It's a long overnight shift, right? But the ones you get in the morning, they're just like wide-eyed, pussy-tailed, ready to go. Especially the crew.
Oh,
the crew is just rocking the walk through the concourse to the airplane. They're just happy.
So grateful.
Yeah, so
we
grateful.
Appreciate you guys. We appreciate you guys. Graveyard is a fun shift.
It is.
I enjoyed working graveyard. I mean, there's like no bosses. That's one.
So
graveyard
true.
is fun.
No,
I
this is
enjoy
true.
Graveyard.
Yeah, no
I'm
one's
like,
there. You're right.
Oh, we could take a break again. Hey, break!
You're so right.
Break!
Like we used to, when I first started my career at this station in Honolulu called KSSK.
Okay.
Back then they called it K59. That was, we never used the call letters, but my job was 3 to 11. So I had the swing shift from 3 to 11, right?
Right on.
And it was night jocks.
There you
right?
go.
And so we didn't play music on that station. We played like talk shows and stuff. It was like it was a cross between music talk and music and talk, which was always really interesting. And then I would do these newscasts like once an hour or twice an hour, depending.
Okay.
But 3 to 11, you're just really prepping for the guy in the morning is
For
what
sure.
you're doing. You're doing just a lot of, And there wasn't a whole lot to do at 3 to 11 unless something really popped off. It was like after evening radio. It's like, what are you doing? And so me and the jock at the time, his name is Mike Murphy.
Right on.
Because he was running the music or he would run a talk show, I would be like the only person else in the studio that could go run and get us food. And I was like young, so I never ate. So food wasn't like, I was like, I could go for 3 to 11, then, hammer something at midnight, right? Yeah. But no, he was like, he was a big boy and he never brought dinner. So he would always send me out to all these different places. I swear to God, there were no cell phones. There were absolutely no cell phones. Hey. And I used to leave every night, to go and run errands. And I was young. So, if the jock was saying, hey, young whippersnapper from
go and
Guam.
grab me some stuff.
Go get me some KFC,
Got you.
And I would leave and go to KFC. No phones. No nothing like, hey, the world's falling apart. You better get your butt back here right now, right? I would just take my time. I was young, So,
but the world was safer then, right?
Well,
it was a lot safer there. You can go to KFC and not worry about ice or something.
Well, back then you had to worry about cocaine, but they were just tweaking. You know what I mean? They weren't trying to kill you. They were like sophisticated coke users. They were functional. They're functional and just happy.
Depending on where your graveyard shift is at.
Exactly. And I was right there, right next to Ala Moana Shopping Center. There was a building that's no longer there. It breaks my heart, but it was called Victoria Station. And Victoria Station was a restaurant downstairs, and we had a small space on the second floor. This was the #1 station. It really wasn't that fancy back in the day. We were stuffed in there like we were at the Calvo building when I first started with Sorensen. We were stuffed into the second floor of the Calvo building. And so that was, until we moved to Bank of Guam, where, we moved on up.
That's a different feel for graveyard.
That's a whole different
Well,
you know why?
for
Because
graveyard.
all the people at night are like, sending out your overdraft notices.
You
You have to
paper,
have
rock,
some-
scissors rescuing Kai Panay at 1 a.m.
Oh,
It's
really? What
like-
did you guys do?
She's like, I need to get to my car. I'm like, Kai, there's no one down here. You are fine. She's like,
Oh, she was scared to go out to her
it
car.
was. It was.
Bro, I used to
It
park
was
across
real.
the bridge.
That's where she was at. She's like, I gotta go to my car.
No, the scary part is that you would have had these dudes that lived in the boonies
why do you
that would
park so
would
far?
party underneath that bridge.
Yes, that's right.
So I would be
Like
walking
the early
acro-
morning fishermen. What do you guys?
No, it was
catching?
even worse than that. I remember walking out there, and Bob Gaith would always look out the window to check me when I was driving up, so he knew how much time it would take for
would take
somebody
for
to
you, yeah.
abduct me, right? He was like he was on abduction alert, right? Not like Bob could run down and do something
so
about
true.
it. But I
It's so
remember,
true.
and I was never scared. I was never scared until I was walking across the bridge, and I hear from underneath me, I hear this, "Morning, Patty." I'm like, whoa! In the dark, under the bridge. I'm like, yo. I go, bro, you can't be coming up on me like this. I said, you were about to get killed. You were about to get, and I'm like, acting like I had a weapon in my purse, right? You were about to,
real.
boy, I was going to pull it out. You would have been
It's for
dead
real. It
because
is real.
I needed him to know I was armed and dangerous.
It's like, look, I parked far, dude. This is gonna be a walk, man. I don't feel safe. I don't feel safe.
Yeah, nobody
This is
cared.
dangerous.
Nobody cared until you
It
got
was.
jumped, right?
It was, and then we're all just sitting on, that floor, that smoking floor, and then we're like just looking down at
What floor is that? What floor is that?
No,
Fifth?
the rooftop. It's
Oh, was that all the way on the top? No. Wasn't there another one? A mid?
Well, there was one in the middle. There was one in the middle.
Is that
There
where you
was one-
guys smoked?
Yeah, there was one
Okay.
in the middle, and then
I never went to the
Well,
smoking
Brian
room.
B was a little naughty, and he likes to explore things. So Brian was.
Hey,
He
I
liked to explore things.
I have seen those guys be so desperate for a cigarette. They're smoking in the stairwell of the Bank of Guam building, which is, you start a fire in a stairwell, you're going to jail for the rest of your life, bro. Because
It was a
that.
good vibe. It was a good vibe. Good
Yeah.
team. That was a lot of fun. But
Well,
nonetheless,
but
we
all those
appreciate
folks
you,
that-
graveyarders.
Yeah, you folks who
graveyard
work-
shift. Hey, we appreciate
you keep
guys.
the world moving, man.
We
and,
sure do.
And when you do it and you do it with a kind face, it really does make a difference. I'm here to tell you that I've been waking up and going to work at that hour for more than 45 years. I've never had, except the 3 to 11, I've never had a shift that I wasn't doing something in the dark.
sure.
That sounds kind of like I'm a night lady, but no, my jobs have always started at night, in the dark, right? So I do appreciate when you are fresh, heading on to work and, you're picking up provisions on your way and you get the really nice people. They're just good morning you. They're half-a-daying you to death.
They are.
They're just overly friendly, if there's such a word, and just very, very helpful.
Yes,
Right.
Yes. Even the call centers, I feel like they're more friendly at 1 a.m. Be like, you're so jolly this morning. I am struggling.
You know what? And I
Call
always tell
centers.
them that. I always tell them at the end of the call. I always say, you know what? Thank you for being so nice to me on the phone because you really you made my day. That goes a long way with them.
centers,
It
yes,
really
they are.
does. And then it's like, oh, okay.
Right,
It didn't take much effort, to make this person nice. And then also be nice.
Yeah, just be nice.
If you're nice, they're nice.
They are.
Or
yeah.
at least they struggle to be nice.
It is.
And then they'll talk about you. They're like, yo, that Patti Arroyo, she was kind of cranky. She needed another 20 minutes of sleep. Do you see her come through here? She didn't brush her hair. She was just mean.
Oh my God, that's too funny.
I'll tell you,
I cannot.
I will tell you that it works both ways. But the people who initiate the kindness and just giving you that service is something that can really make your day. And mine was made absolutely from the little old lady over at Denny's who had no concept of time.
Thank you, Denny's.
She had no concept of time.
Yes.
She's over there. She's like just she's digging in boxes looking for ketchup. I'm like, ma'am,
Right.
I really got to go to work.
Dude, for real. And they got the melted butter too. I'm like, man,
Oh, yeah.
I love you
They
guys.
hooked her up. They hooked you up.
It
They
up.
hooked you up.
Not
Yeah.
not you know what I mean. They didn't give us the cubes, Patty. They took the time
No,
and
no, no.
melted our butter.
That's like butter that's melted.
you.
Yeah, that's it.
Melted butter.
That's the way to
Thank
do
you.
it.
Thank
so,
you, Denny's.
Thank
you.
Yeah, to all the folks that are working overnight or the swing shift or whatever, and you're getting off right now, or you just got off, appreciate your kindness for the people of Guam. It's 7 o'clock in the morning now. Let's go ahead and get that AP News in you. We'll get a little bit of traffic and we'll check on that weather. We're Mornings with Patti, 7 o'clock KGUM FM and Daddy Do Guam.
AP News. I'm Ed Donahue. A Senate committee voted to hold former infectious disease specialist Dr. Anthony Fauci in contempt of Congress over refusal to answer questions at a COVID hearing last week. Kentucky Republican Senator Rand Paul leads the committee.
We are voting on whether a witness who has received the benefit of a sweeping federal pardon can be ordered by this committee to answer questions and then defy that order without consequence.
Fauci says Paul has a vendetta against him. Ranking member Michigan Democrat Gary Peters says the vote sets a bad precedent.
If this committee now seeks to punish a witness for asserting their constitutional protected Fifth Amendment rights, future witnesses will argue that appearing before Congress exposes them to punishment regardless of whether they comply with the subpoena and invoke a constitutional protection. They will point directly to this vote as a justification for refusing to appear at all.
The vote sends a referral to prosecute Fauci to the Justice Department, overriding a vote in the full Senate. The AP's Lisa Dwyer reports the Trump administration is moving ahead on an overhaul of Head Start,
a key early education program for the nation's poorest children. Officials from the Department of Health and Human Services say the changes, now posted online, would encourage more local decision-making by eliminating many federal regulations. The program currently serves around 700 vulnerable children, including those who are homeless or in foster care. The proposed changes would replace extensive federal regulations with state and local requirements. Experts warn it may also lower standards. The public has 60 days to weigh in. I'm Lisa Dwyer.
Police in Toronto have arrested a 19-year-old and a 15-year-old in the second shooting at the U.S. consulate in 5 months, saying the attack was carried out as part of a gun-for-hire network linked to other violent crimes in Canada's largest city. This is AP News. A rights group warns Israel's decision to withhold Palestinian tax revenues in the West Bank are pushing the West Bank healthcare system to collapse.
The rights group said in the reports released on Thursday that health workers are not being paid and 75% of government hospitals, clinics and pharmacies have reduced functioning once or twice a week. Some of the most impacted are those with cancer, kidney and heart problems. Because Palestinians don't control their own borders, the Palestinian Authority relies on Israel to collect taxes on goods that enter the West Bank through Israeli ports. But rights groups for decades have accused Israel of weaponizing the funds. Since 2023, Israel has withheld at least $2.5 billion in revenues from the West Bank. I'm Karen Shamas.
Italy has placed all major cities under the highest heat alert as Europe faces a severe heat wave. I'm Ed Donahue, AP News.
Need a truck that works as hard as you do? Then head to Triple J Ford's Big Deals on Big Wheels sales event. For a limited time, score prices below dealer cost and drive home America's best-selling truck for 49 years. The legendary Ford F-150 starting at just $39,995. Choose from the rugged XL, stylish STX, or well-equipped XLT. All backed by the strength, capability, and innovation only Ford delivers. But don't wait. All stock must go. Visit Triple J Ford in Upper Tumont or get pre-approved and shop online at triplejguam.com. Triple J Ford, customers first.
Hoffaday and welcome back, Guam. 3 minutes after 7 o'clock. It's a Friday, August 7th, here on the Wave 105 FM. We are streaming online. You can catch us on the World Wide Web at thewave105.com, as well as our YouTube channel. That's going to be Wave 105.1 FM Guam. And the show this morning is being brought to you by our friends at Subway, where you can eat fresh in just a few clicks. Order online at subwaypacific.com for pickup at your convenience or for delivery right at your doorstep. Online ordering at subwaypacific.com is powered by Good To Go. We deliver at Subway. You gotta refresh to be fresh. Bank Pacific, where others place branches, we place roots. Visit bankpacific.com today. GTA, we start with you. Mobile gas stations turn every fuel stop into rewards with Mobile Smiles. Download the app today for exclusive offers and faster rewards at the pump. Mobile Smiles, fuel up and save. Take Care Insurance Company, Our Island, your health plan. It's big deals on big wheels at Triple J Ford. Save thousands off retail and drive home a new Ford F-150 starting at just $39,995. Visit Triple J Ford today. Customers first. Shop, dine, and relax at the Agania Shopping Center, your destination for food, fun, and local favorites all year long. Patch Tinting and Detailing for all your special interior cleaning. Call 483-7522. And Code One Store is your tactical shop for public safety and everyday gear, serving Guam since 1999. Shop 511 Tactical and Condor Outdoor, plus steel toe footwear. Stop by Code One Store today. And Chili's Grill and Bar. At Chili's, more life, great food, and memories happen here. Good morning, Guam, and welcome back. It's Mornings with Patti on the Wave 105 FM.
Hagåtña, get ready. Something big is coming to your neighborhood. A brand new Kashi Less experience is almost here, bringing family fun, entertainment, and giveaways. Follow Kashi Less Guam on Facebook or Instagram for details. Something exciting is coming soon.
Holiday Guam, welcome back. Your second look at your traffic report brought to you by Guam Auto Spot. Schedule a test drive at 478 Auto, or if you'd like to look at our inventory, you may also visit our website. All you got to do is head to GuamAutospot.com. We have scattered showers and thunderstorms this morning, mostly cloudy with highs around 84 degrees. We're looking at west winds from 11 to 20 miles per hour with gusts as high as 25 miles per hour this morning. So again, Guam, let's just watch our speed limit as the streets of Guam are definitely saturated this morning. For our friends coming along the southern end of the island, it looks like traffic is light, moving great around Humatec this morning. Coming around Hoggett, Santa Rita, we got no delays there. It looks like it is beginning to build up for our friends around the naval base this morning. PD traffic is moving nicely, as well as Nimitz Hill. Asen getting around Hagåtña this morning. You will find some delays getting around Hagåtña, most especially around Paseo, the Chamorro Village, north and southbound traffic there. And after that, Guam hitting Tamuning, we got north and southbound. That's going to be around that ITC intersection. Traffic is not too bad this morning in Upper Tumon. Getting around Dedido, it looks like traffic is moving nicely, as well as our friends up and around Jigo. Let's just continue to watch our speed limit, eyes on the roads, no texting and driving, and we should all have ourselves a safe Friday morning. It's your traffic report right here on the Wave 105 FM, and it's all being brought to you by Guam Auto Spot.
At Bank of Hawaii, we want to help make the goals you're saving for possible. Great rates are possible because you'll earn up to 5 times the national average on savings when you make a qualifying deposit of $25,000 from another bank. And flexibility is possible because you can access your savings anytime and still earn one of our highest rates.
Anything's possible.
Open a Bank Ohana savings special today and reach your possible. Rates based on the FDIC's national deposit rates. Terms and conditions apply. Visit BOH.com/savings special.
Our critically injured veterans and first responders are left behind every day because of inadequate wheelchairs. That's why Wheelchairs for Warriors is on a mission to serve America's heroes across the nation and provide them with custom-fit wheelchairs tailored to fit their needs to ensure they're rejoining their lives at the highest level of independent mobility and function possible. From lightweight daily use chairs or adaptive sports chairs to all-terrain wheelchairs to get these warriors outdoors. Wheelchairs for Warriors serves those who served us. To join their mission, visit their website at wheelchairsforwarriors.org.
Ever dreamed of being on the radio? Now's your chance. Glimpses of Guam is looking for the next generation of on-air personalities to join our family on Wave 105. If you've got personality, creativity, and a passion for entertaining, we want to hear from you. No matter your experience level, this could be your opportunity to be heard across the airwaves. Send your resume and a short demo to jobs@glimpsesofguam.com and start your broadcasting journey today. Join the Glimpses of Guam radio team. Your voice belongs on the air on Wave 105.
It all connects. The girl who walks for hours to bring home the family's water, the school she can't attend most days, the breakfast she didn't have, the rain that hasn't fallen in months, the danger around the next bend, her little brother's belly laugh, her mother's hug, her dreams of being a teacher, an engineer, the mayor. All the reasons life is both so hard and so beautiful. It all connects. But so do we, for children's sakes. At Child Fund, we connect through everything we do, together, so every child can grow up healthy, educated, and safe. Because we need each other. Learn more at childfund.org.
As a parent, you said you'd never give up the convertible.
Look, the van even has its own vacuum.
You said you'd never stop listening to your music.
Do your happy dance, do your happy dance, yeah.
You said you'd never schedule your life around a stuffed animal.
Nobody panic. Bun Bun is still at daycare.
You said you'd never give in to demands.
2 kids' meals and a chocolate shake.
And never put them in harm's way.
I'll be right back, little man. Just gonna pop in the store for diapers.
But never happens. And no amount of time is okay to leave your child in a car by themselves.
Long line today.
Temperatures as low as 60 degrees can be deadly for children left behind. So always bring them with you every time you park the car. Stop, look, lock. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Many of our U.S. veterans and service members face challenges: mental health struggles, housing obstacles, employment, food insecurity, and social isolation, to name just a few. I'm Bob Woodruff. My family and I started the Bob Woodruff Foundation in 2006 after I sustained a life-threatening injury while reporting from Iraq. Our service members had my back that day, and we need to have theirs now more than ever. At the Bob Woodruff Foundation, we raise awareness about the tough challenges veterans and military families face and invest in solutions to help support them in the next chapter of their lives. And with one solution comes the next. We solve a housing situation, we increase employment opportunities. We solve employment problems, we address food insecurity. We solve food insecurity, we impact physical and mental health issues. Learn more about our work at bobwoodrufffoundation.org/success.
The views and opinions expressed on this program are those of the show hosts, guests, and callers, and do not necessarily reflect the views of the staff or management of Wave 105.1 FM, Glimpses Media, or our partners. We strive to provide quality, respectful, and engaging content, and we welcome you to participate in the conversation. Thank you for tuning in to Wave 105.1 FM. Enjoy the show.
Where Guam talks, debates, and stays informed. Wave 105, the talk of Guam.
One 105.1 The Wave is the talk of Guam. Start your morning with confidence right here on Mornings with Patti.
Oh yeah, good morning and welcome back. As promised, 7:14 in the morning, and this is the time we would normally do the canned weather report that we've got from the National Weather Service. But we thought we'd take the human being live and in the flesh, well, not in the flesh, but in the voice of Landon Idlet, joining us from the National Weather Service. Hey, Landon, good morning.
Good morning, Patti. How are you doing today?
You know, staying above water. Thanks a lot. I ruined my pants yesterday. A little warning would have been good.
You know, I'm so irritated about yesterday because I was stuck in a windowless conference room at the Dusit Beach Resort yesterday, running sessions, and I'm up at the podium working with a lot of our weather officers across Micronesia as well as their emergency management partners from the Micronesia region.
Yeah.
And I hear my phone just literally dinging and beeping and ringing constantly behind me, and I can't even get to it because I'm running these sessions. And I'm like about to bounce off the walls. And so I'm looking between breaks and I'm like, oh my gosh, we are getting pounded. You can hear the thunder from inside the hotel. And so that was a remarkable monsoon surge, monsoon event that we had yesterday. And it was just raging for hours with multiple problems across the island, from flash floods to quite a bit of lightning activity across the island. And of course, the landslide at Nimitz, a plane had to take an emergency landing down south. And you know, it was just a crazy day yesterday.
It was a crazy day. I mean, it wasn't like there hadn't been some forecast about rain, but the deluge was an entirely different thing. Was that, if you had not been in a windowless room, and it, obviously we have an entire weather service that looks out for these things.
Yep.
You know, what more could have what kind of much more warning? People were going to get caught in it, whether they knew about it or not. It was just, hey, it's like part of the landscape living here. But it wasn't anything more than that. I think is what I'm getting at.
Yeah, exactly. We've had bigger events. These monsoon surges, they can come and they can drop anywhere from 8 to 15 inches of rain in a single day, depending on how that monsoon lines up in the axis of showers.
Yeah.
Yesterday, fortunately, was not that much. We had just over 3 inches here at the office, which fell short of a rainfall for the day set in 2006 of 3.19 inches. But I do think there could have been more communications, public push of communications from our office. I'm actually sending an email to the staff right now, just reemphasizing the importance of the use of social media, because everybody's on Facebook, or at least not the younger crowd so much, but most of the people who have to make decisions, everybody's on Facebook, and that's one of the single best ways to communicate weather hazards. And it's such a tremendous tool to push information to the public. It's very shareable as well as on WhatsApp. We only had that one social media post after the floods had been ongoing for a while. So I'm sending out an email to the staff just reemphasizing the importance of communicating there and leaning forward, because we have any number of hazards going on, and lightning is a big one. A lot of people dismiss the threat of lightning, but if you hear thunder, you are at risk of being struck by lightning. And I don't have any reports or information about lightning strikes, but we've had fatalities here on Guam from lightning in the past.
I could have been one. Yesterday, I was standing at the top of the stairs at a church, and I was going to make it to my car, and the thunder and lightning and thunder had already started when I was, before I made my way into the church. But once I was inside the church, it was really, you could really hear it. So I was standing out in front of this church, and I was thinking, what would Landon do? Because my car was about, I would say, 50, 70 yards away. I'm thinking, can I hoof it 70 yards, without getting struck by lightning? And I was an impatient girl, and I felt like I was wearing the right shoes for a little gallop across the parking lot. And I made it into the car, sopping wet, but I knew that when I sat down in the car, I said to myself, you're an idiot. You're an idiot. Because at one point, when you feel like it's right over your head? At one point, it was, it was right over the church. And then about 10 minutes later, it started, you could hear it moving away. But when it's on top of your head, that was not my best decision, but I was impatient, And
that happens, and so you have to step back in that moment and think, should I or shouldn't I? And in the past, younger me would have been like, heck yes, let's go out there, let's get soaked, let's have fun. Older me, and especially having my mom's voice in the back of my head, you better be safe and you better not go out there. And it's also the premonition that if I were to get struck by lightning, that would be really bad optics for the Weather Service. No pun intended. But in the back of my head, I'm like, okay, if I run out there, this is my time, and it's going to happen. That would be my luck.
You're
and
right.
so I don't chance it. I absolutely don't chance it. I think it's a part of growing up. You get a little more mature, and you feel a little less immortal.
Okay, yeah. Well, I clearly regressed yesterday in age. So, I just turned a year older, and I just made a stupid decision. I just got more daring, apparently, at 67. Well, either way, it was, it's the difference is that I took a chance that I probably shouldn't have taken. If I had a child or anybody with me, I wouldn't have done it. But I was also impatient. But I think that we all understand the dangers of it. And so I think if there's a teachable moment, when in doubt, just don't step out.
Absolutely. And I can't say that enough. And I'm looking at the visible satellite imagery right now. And we have a cluster of showers and thunderstorms. It's just juicing out there to our northwest. And there's a plume of lightning extending from northwest of Guam all the way out to the open waters of the Philippine Sea, just an axis of lightning strikes out there. So they're starting to come into our coastal waters to the north and west of Guam, and at any moment these things could start putting out lightning closer to the island. So again, we do have a lot of showers and thunderstorms. If you look out the window as we're driving into work right now, we got a plume of dark clouds off to our west and northwest and north. If this moves on shore, we could have another round of heavy weather. Right now, the trends and the radar animation shows it's holding steady over the coastal waters to our northwest. But again, if this line overall starts to develop southward and southeastward, we could see more heavy showers today. And so in these monsoonal situations, what you see right now could change radically in 2 hours or 6 hours or 8 hours. So again, keep those umbrellas handy, keep an eye to the sky, and stay up to date to weather information, because these flood advisories that we issue from our office and flood warnings, those are event driven. We don't issue those well in advance. They happen, or they're issued as conditions dictate. And so we can have another day of advisories and warnings, and we have some heavy showers starting to pop up over southern Guam, just some very small cells, looks like right over Telefofo Bay, and coming up over Agate, just south of the main area of Agate Village. So we're going to see these showers. It's a very wet pattern out there. The showers aren't prominent over the islands right now, but that could change in a matter of a few hours. So keep an eye to the sky, stay tuned, and play it safe.
I want to ask you sort of a sidebar question to the role of the National Weather Service, in that how it expands into recommendations, or if you are called to the table in your capacity at the National Weather Service, or even at NOAA, when governments are sitting down to talk about the effects of bad weather. And in Guam, that table's large enough for a lot of people. But when we see like the landslides that are taking place, we saw, obviously in Naganya, there was several factors, but it's a cliff line, as is Naval Nimitz Hill. Talk to me about what the seat at the table when they start talking about that kind of infrastructure and mitigation and long-term effects on these. We got cliff lines all over the place, and when these big ones start to fall by the big boulders, I think it's already too late to have a conversation about long-term.
Yeah, and I know there's a number of agencies from Guam tasked with disaster planning and preparedness. There's exercises that go on, discussions that take place with agencies, assessments, and usually a lot of times things don't really happen until there's been an incident. But we do know that we are prone to landslides and mudslides here across Guam because of our steep terrain, especially in some villages more than others. And so we have to anticipate that when you're building houses or building buildings and structures, you have to assess the land area around your area for flood potential, also any kind of other hazards like a landslide. I'm not going to build my house at the bottom of a cliff, preferably, nor would I build it right on top of a cliff, because any number of things can happen, from weather to earthquakes. But those discussions do happen. I know U.S. Army Corps of Engineers is always a big part of disaster prevention and preparedness and infrastructure, as well as Homeland Security, with the many agencies they work with across the sector. So there's a lot of discussions going on. A lot of times the general public is not aware of the discussions being had, like exercises, for example. I'm working up exercises for today's sessions in the conference room to talk through processes, curveballs. We have to anticipate curveballs when it comes to Mother Nature. Things happen that you may not anticipate, and so we have to plan for that and anticipate that before it happens.
But the larger issue is that mitigation takes money. And, right now when Guam is prepping itself for building an infrastructure, this is like one of those things that, like you said, until it happens, nobody's really paying attention. Federal dollars have to be included in this, it seems, by people in the know, that this is something that we have to tap into the federal government as part of the mitigation plan for the military buildup. That's gonna. I don't know what goes into that. I don't know what kind of conversations that are had. But if we waited for the federal government to approve something like this, we could just be in a worse, more expensive spot. I know that you can't handle the finances of the government of Guam, but do you feel like this is enough of an urgent? I don't know what level you want to put what emergent level that you want to put on it, but at what point do you think we are at the moment to do something about it quickly outside of a long-term plan? Like,
Yeah, and that's a lot. I'm not sure if I'm the best person to answer that. I know Homeland Security, they look at a lot of this very detailed. On the weather and climate front, I do know the discussions are happening as far as reinforcing seawalls, barriers, anticipating of rising sea levels and stuff like that, but also typhoon preparedness. I can't say that enough, because whether climate change and the global warming increases or decreases the frequency of typhoons, Typhoons are a way of life over here, and so you have to make sure that whatever we do as a government, whether it's federal partners, territorial partners, or the mayors, even in the villages, we have to do our part to be prepared and resilient. And a lot of that starts at home. You cannot rely on the federal government to say, okay, you're going to do this and this and this, and we're going to provide this and this and this. The preparedness has to be a level of self-sufficiency as well.
Yeah, I know that I kind of put you in the spot on qualifying, whether or not we should start throwing money at the problem now. But I guess the larger point that I wanted to make is how much of the involvement that the National Weather Service plays in these weather effects on Guam. And again, if you're seated at the table, which I know you are, that the National Weather Service is either by whoever representative, there is clearly a recognition that you guys are instrumental in what the seasons potentially bring.
And those are definitely some discussions. I was having those in Yap last weekend, as well as with folks in Ulithi. And I think some of the motion is they want a pre-disaster declaration for drought, so that certain actions can start taking place. And so I was looking at some of the language presented at the request, and I'm like, okay, of all of these things, 4 of those 5 recommendations can take place without any level of declaration.
Yeah.
And that's that personal responsibility at the village and community and household level. So there's a lot of things that can happen at the personal level, but at the Weather Service, we're the nagging voice in the back of your head on a sunny day say, well, we're going to have a busy typhoon season. We have to anticipate this. And I've been asked, what's the average wind speed of a tropical cyclone on Guam? I said, well, it depends. Tropical cyclones average between, the winds are from 39 miles per hour for a tropical storm to 150 plus for Category 5. You just can't put an average wind speed because even in a slow year, you can get a 170 mile per hour typhoon that's going to wreck your year. And so we have to make sure that our building, our codes, our anticipation do encompass the worst of nature.
Yeah.
And sometimes that's hard. That's expensive, and that's hard, and it's quite a task.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate this. The bigger conversation is always the one that I want to hear because we do react to rain and the deluge that we had yesterday, but when we largely just say that what comes with the territory, no pun intended, is the fact that we have flooding in these major roadways. And maybe not so much, I think that they're trying to mitigate what happens at Polaris Point. But, when you see landslides, then you've got to be really, really serious about sitting down and having the future conversation or the conversation about the future of these cliff lines.
Yeah.
So, they're
absolutely.
just, I appreciate this. Landon, as usual, I feel a little bit smarter after having spoken with you, and I do feel guilty about running through the rain yesterday. I thought I looked kind of cute. I thought I was in fact, I thought I would look like this one actress. I don't know if you know who she is. And I actually go look at my Facebook post. I should have tagged you. Go look at my Facebook.
You have to tag me, and you have to get video next time.
Oh my God! Yeah. It was too much. It was too much. There's nothing pretty about looking sopping wet with the terror of a thunder of lightning striking all around you. I appreciate the time. Take good care, Landon.
Yeah,
right,
thank you. Talk soon.
All right, go check out my Facebook page. Did you see the picture I posted on Facebook?
I didn't get on there yet.
Oh, dude. I was dying. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
No. I was laughing at myself because I was running in these 2-inch heels or 1-inch heels.
What?
And so when I got home, I wasn't as graceful as I might have thought I was when I started to undress, and it was revealing some kinks in the armor. Or chinks in the armor.
Okay.
Yeah, anyway, go take a look at it. It's the bottom of the hour. Did you need to tell me something about GPD?
No, I'm waiting for Norman Annalista.
Okay.
Okay, got it right.
All right.
Norman Annalista.
Are we good on
He's
the
got an
roadway?
update. He's good. He's
okay,
He's
cool.
gonna give
All right,
us
we'll do
something.
that. I appreciate that. Let's get a break. Are we ready for that?
Yes.
Okay, we'll do it. Be right back.
So, what's your idea of a 10?
I love guys who don't text and drive.
Girls that wait until they're parked to text? Bro, instant 10.
I don't know, but I got the ick when I went out with this boy who texted while driving.
10s wait to send. Eyes on the road, not your phone.
Don't drive distracted. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
We are all for first-time guests and longtime friends. All for First Light and Starlight. For road trips and trail runs. All for mountaintops and monuments. River bends and battlefields. We're all for showing up and giving back. To protect, to preserve, to pass it on. All parks depend on us, and we're all for parks. Join us at nationalparks.org/allforparks.
How serious is youth vaping? Irreversible lung damage serious. 1 in 10 kids vape serious, which warrants a serious conversation from a serious parental figure like yourself. Not the seriously know-it-all sports dad or the seriously smart podcaster. It requires a serious conversation that is best had by you. No, seriously, the best person to talk to your child about vaping is you. To start the conversation, visit talkaboutvaping.org. Brought to you by the American Lung Association and the Ad Council.
A message from Joshua Jackson, actor and Fair Volunteer Ambassador.
Food allergy is a serious, life-threatening disease that impacts over 33 million Americans. When your immune system sees certain food proteins as a threat, every bite matters. But here's the good news. There have been advancements in the treatment of food allergies, and with one voice, we can create better awareness. Because in the FAIR community, the disease doesn't own us. We own our journey. Talk to an allergist to understand your options. Visit foodallergy.org/empower to learn more.
We are diving deep into the top secret logbooks of the United States military today to uncover a modern-day encounter with a real ocean monster. Welcome to the National Day Spotlight for August 7th.
While modern skeptics routinely dismiss marine monsters as pure ancient mythology, the high-tech United States Navy encountered a terrifying deep-sea reality back in the year 1978. The frigate USS Stein suddenly returned to port after its advanced sonar array completely malfunctioned deep out at sea, blinding the vessel's vital anti-submarine defenses. When engineers placed the warship into dry dock for emergency repairs, they discovered the specialized rubber protective dome had been brutally shredded by massive, deep gashes. Embedded directly within the ruins were dozens of broken, razor-sharp claws matching the distinct curved hooks found on giant squid tentacles, proving that the real-life deep-sea predators celebrated on National Sea Serpent Day can easily blind some of the most advanced military warships on Earth.
How big do you think that thing had to be to do that?
I don't want to know, quite frankly. I don't even want to
Sure,
guess.
I do too.
Oh my goodness.
That's just creepy scary.
It is.
We're also celebrating National Lighthouse Day and National Water Balloon Day. I'm Alice Anderson.
And I'm Marlo Anderson with National Day Calendar, reminding you to celebrate every day.
If you're looking for world-class website hosting at a fair price, Pair Networks is your best choice. Whether you're a professional web designer or a beginner just getting your site online, Pair Networks has a web hosting plan that's right for you. Log on and learn more at pair.com. That's PAIR.com. Pair Networks, world-class web hosting at a fair price. Visit us at pair.com. Pair Networks.
Registering a domain name on the web? You should know about Pairnick. Pairnick offers .com names at a great price with quality service you expect. Because Pairnick is powered by internet leader Pair Networks. Whether you need a domain name for business or personal use, Pairnick is your best choice. Remember Pairnick when you need a domain name. That's PAIRNIC.com. Pairnick.
Need a truck that works as hard as you do? Then head to Triple J Ford's Big Deals on Big Wheels sales event. For a limited time, score prices below dealer cost and drive home America's best-selling truck for 49 years. The legendary Ford F-150 starting at just $39,995. Choose from the rugged XL, stylish STX, or well-equipped XLT. All backed by the strength, capability, and innovation only Ford delivers. But don't wait. All stock must go. Visit Triple J Ford in Upper Tumont or get pre-approved and shop online at triplejguam.com. Triple J Ford, customers first.
Haggadah, get ready. Something big is coming to your neighborhood. A brand new Cost You Less experience is almost here, bringing family fun, entertainment, and giveaways. Follow Cost You Less Guam on Facebook or Instagram for details. Something exciting is coming soon.
At Bank of Hawaii, we want to help make the goals you're saving for possible. Great rates are possible because you'll earn up to 5 times the national average on savings when you make a qualifying deposit of $25,000 from another bank. And flexibility is possible because you can access your savings anytime and still earn one of our highest rates.
Anything's possible.
Open a Bank Ohana savings special today and reach your possible. Rates based on the FDIC's national deposit rates. Terms and conditions apply. Visit boh.com/savings special.
Our critically injured veterans and first responders are left behind every day because of inadequate wheelchairs. That's why Wheelchairs for Warriors is on a mission to serve America's heroes across the nation and provide them with custom-fit wheelchairs tailored to fit their needs to ensure they're rejoining their lives at the highest level of independent mobility and function possible. From lightweight daily use chairs or adaptive sports chairs to all-terrain wheelchairs to get these warriors outdoors. Wheelchairs for Warriors serves those who served us. To join their mission, visit their website at wheelchairsforwarriors.org.
Ever dreamed of being on the radio? Now's your chance. Glimpses of Guam is looking for the next generation of on-air personalities to join our family on Wave 105. If you've got personality, creativity, and a passion for entertaining, we want to hear from you. No matter your experience level, this could be your opportunity to be heard across the airwaves. Send your resume and a short demo to jobs@glimpsesofguam.com and start your broadcasting journey today. Join the Glimpses of Guam radio team. Your voice belongs on the air on Wave 105.
Haapade Guam, welcome back. Let's go ahead and hit the streets right now. Here is your third report on your traffic for you right now, and it's all being brought to you by Guam Auto Spot, and you can schedule a test drive. All you got to do is give us a call at 478-AUTO or check out our inventory. It's on our website. You got to head to guamautospot.com. All right, friends, we're looking at Route 4 this morning as traffic is beginning to build up for our friends in Chalampago. Hopping on Manilao, that's going to be along Route 10, and working your way up towards Barrigada this morning. Getting around Happy Mart, you can expect some wait time. We got north as well as southbound traffic coming around that Crown Bakery 76 Circle K intersection. Mongmong Totu Mighty traffic is also moving nicely this morning. Up and around T10, it looks like traffic is moving nice, as well as our friends along Route 1. That's going to be in Tamuning this morning. However, Upper Tumon is going to be another story as we got ourselves some north as well as southbound definitely picking up around the Tumon condos north and southbound there. Lower Tumon traffic getting around the Dusit this morning. You can expect some wait time or coming around the Tumon Sands Plaza. That's going to be along Pauly San Vitor's Road this morning. Kmart intersection is also building up. So Guam, please watch your speed limit. We're not at the 8 o'clock rush hour just yet. However, our streets of Guam are definitely saturated this morning, so you do want to watch your speed. Let's keep our eyes on the roads. Make sure that you're not texting and driving. And most importantly, Guam, seatbelts are sexy. Let's get our seatbelts fastened and our kids in the proper booster and car seats. It's your traffic report right here on the Wave 105 FM, and it's all being brought to you by Guam Auto Spot.
It all connects. The girl who walks for hours to bring home the family's water, the school she can't attend most days, the breakfast she didn't have, the rain that hasn't fallen in months, the danger around the next bend, her little brother's belly laugh, her mother's hug, her dreams of being a teacher, an engineer, the mayor. All the reasons life is both so hard and so beautiful. It all connects. But so do we, for children's sakes. At Child Fund, we connect through everything we do, together, so every child can grow up healthy, educated, and safe. Because we need each other. Learn more at childfund.org.
As a parent, you said you'd never give up the convertible. Look, the van even has its own vacuum. You said you'd never stop listening to your music. Do your happy dance, yeah. You said you'd never schedule your life around a stuffed animal. Nobody panic. Bun Bun is still at daycare. You said you'd never give in to demands. 2 kids' meals and a chocolate shake. And never put them in harm's way. I'll be right back, little man. Just gonna pop in the store for diapers. But never happens. And no amount of time is okay to leave your child in a car by themselves. Long line today. Temperatures as low as 60 degrees can be deadly for children left behind. So always bring them with you every time you park the car. Stop, look, lock. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Many of our U.S. veterans and service members face challenges: mental health struggles, housing obstacles, employment, food insecurity, and social isolation, to name just a few. I'm Bob Woodruff. My family and I started the Bob Woodruff Foundation in 2006 after I sustained a life-threatening injury while reporting from Iraq. Our service members had my back that day, and we need to have theirs now more than ever. At the Bob Woodruff Foundation, we raise awareness about the tough challenges veterans and military families face and invest in solutions to help support them in the next chapter of their lives. And with one solution comes the next. We solve the housing situation, we increase employment opportunities. We solve employment problems, we address food insecurity. We solve food insecurity, we impact physical and mental health issues. Learn more about our work at bobwoodrufffoundation.org/success.
So, what's your idea of a 10? I love guys who don't text and drive.
Girls that wait until they're parked to text? Bro, instant 10.
I don't know, but I got the ick when I went out with this boy who texted while driving.
10's wait to send. Eyes on the road, not your phone.
Don't drive distracted. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
We are all for first-time guests and longtime friends. All for First Light and Starlight. For road trips and trail runs. All for mountaintops and monuments. River bends and battlefields. We're all for showing up and giving back. To protect, to preserve, to pass it on. All parks depend on us, and we're all for parks. Join us at nationalparks.org/allforparks.
.43. Good morning to you. Welcome to the program, and thanks a lot for getting with us today. There's a lot of things that are happening. I was reading some of the different conversations happening about that GWCFA thing. I honestly thought they nipped that in the bud the other day after hearing from Dr. Julie Ujoa Heath, Associate Superintendent or Deputy Superintendent over at the Department of Education, and right before that, having a conversation with Senator Vince Borja, who is the chairman of the Education Committee, and Chris Barnett, a member of the committee as well. You know, talking about the situation that's happening, and how now it is, you know, in the hands of opinions of people that whenever you have a stake in something like education, everybody's opinion counts. It's like there's nobody who's got an opinion about it that doesn't belong or is not relevant to the situation, because education is first of all, it's the largest department, and everybody has a stake in it. If you got a kid in school, you're a stakeholder, and representing these children who are in school. You know, you want to see your children thrive in a school where all of the resources are available to teach them what they're supposed to learn. And then the rest is on you to make sure that your kid is in the space, the headspace, to be able to go and receive this information and take advantage of this free environment to get a free education. So when anything goes wrong or it's out of place or it's different than it might have been, to get everybody's opinion on it requires lots of conversations about a change that's going to be made, in this case, sharing a campus with CIFA. And so there had been, however it happened, there is a cluster of members of the community who are actually even being fed by the opinions of the media, who are telling them you should be really upset about this, and taking comments from some of the stakeholders and teachers and even kids who may or may not have had the same opinion. And now we've rallied so deep and stood up in what is going to be this big, fight over miscommunication, lack thereof, and then just being ousted from a campus that they were ready to enjoy, peacefully for the start of the school year on Monday, and come to find out that the teachers are up in arms over the classrooms that are going to be used for special education students. And I'm just trying to find out where it all went wrong. That Frank Leon Guerrero, who is actually their CFO, says we had this conversation. I mean, as far as I knew it, that the principal was the one who was going to go back and talk to the stakeholders in the school, being the teachers and students, to let them know that this was a campus that was going to be shared for 4 months, and that we didn't get any feedback on whether there was a big enough problem to address it further than that meeting. And so we signed an MOU. And then somebody understood about this MOU that it was going to take away some of their classes. And what started off to be, rumblings of teachers turned into having sit-down meetings with the oversight chair for the Department of Education. And then he, crafting a memo back to the Department of Education with I don't know how many different points of concern, asking for them to give him answers to these concerns. And so I talked to Vince Borja and I said, how did it get from the teachers inside this school to the oversight chairman over at the legislature? Is that a little overkill for attention? I mean, is that the process by which we're going to solve all our problems, is to go, from the classroom straight over to the legislature to find out if there's policy that needs to be crafted? I mean, is that your job to be the guy on the other end of the complaint, or do you have to go through several layers until it seems to me that when it gets to the point of governance, then you've exhausted all of the other areas in between that for a resolution. And then it becomes overblown, because now we're dealing with people who are probably too busy to deal with something that is just is not to the level of concern a lawmaker should have over schools renting spaces. I'm not trying to discount the importance or take away from anybody's frustration over what the other parts of this story is, as much as I'm trying to point out that in the line of complaints, when it reaches the attention of lawmakers with oversight, now you're talking about a larger effort to haul them all in and ask them these questions. I mean, was there something about the contract that was illegal? Were there parts of the contract and the way that it was negotiated, or the payment for this, or the process by which it was secured through procurement? Was there something illegal about it? Did you favor anybody in any of this? Were there other people who were in line for the bid? I mean, all of these things that would point to there being maybe fraudulent behavior, being there something that warrants legislative oversight. And he agreed. He agreed that there's a really big danger of you stepping into an area of micromanaging a situation that could easily be dealt with the leadership of both the school and its union, the teachers' union, and the teachers who are complaining, and the actual Department of Education. And I mean, the administration of the Department of Education, the superintendents and those who are in charge. Or at the very least, I've not heard anybody from the board saying, we got to take a look into this, which would have been for me in the line of in the process. The board should be ultimately one of the areas a complaint could take, because then they could question the superintendent and her leadership, if that was the case. But it seems like a lot. It seems like a lot to get to, and I think it's also being fed by the media, when we last had this conversation, Vince Borja did say, yeah, this is a lot. This is a lot of overkill. I would much rather it had stayed in that venue. But now that I know what I know and I entertained these teachers, I got to find out what's happening. And so in a big sort of public way, this memo was shot through, all of these questions that can be very damning to the situation come out, and then read between the lines, and it just all sounds like one big problem with maybe people were ignoring the concerns of the stakeholders and making nilly-willy decisions on their own. And the Department of Education, for its part, and the deputy superintendent said that's not how it was at all. And I wish there was a way that people with some kind of problem with the Department of Education would go through the chain of command. And they will bring it to them, because those are the people that are going to solve the problems. You can heavy-hand it by demanding that the board demanding of the superintendent to explain, a memorandum of understanding. But for the most part, the board does make policy, and the board does not engage itself in the micromanagement of these schools or the operation. So it was a thing. And for the past week, it's been a thing, and it just keeps getting bigger and bigger. And I have to say that it being fed through different points of the media that has an opinion about social media is mostly having an opinion about how this should go, misses the point, as usual. Some of these folks who are they're not covering stories as from a reporter's point of view or a journalistic point of view, and they will never admit to not doing so. It's self-admitted. We're not journalists, but you are influencers, and sometimes it looks like you're acting like somebody who's going to have no opinion about it, and will search after the facts and stick with those facts, and then people can decide, or you can actually affect some kind of change by having the power to present both sides. But if you're writing on the sexiest part of the argument here is the upset by the campus, and that these kids are the victims, and that these teachers are being, looked over, and this campus is being overwhelmed by non-GWA students and taking up space without their knowledge. And now we have to change our entire, stimulus to be a stimulus. No, that's not what the word I'm looking for.
No, I don't think that was the one. Yeah. No, I wouldn't.
It wasn't the word stimulus.
No.
We have to change our whole thing. Thing is a better word. We have to change everything, because we now have to accommodate for the fact that we don't have access to these resources. And no one is going to say you're wrong. Absolutely no one is going to argue that anything that you're saying isn't a validated feeling, concept, truth. I mean, it is happening. It's just that there's a communication issue in there. And that can't be solved by the Education Committee of the Guam legislature passing legislation. And I don't know when there's time for us to zero in on a smoldering situation of miscommunication in lieu of the fact that we've got other things that are happening in the Department of Education that are far more serious to grab the attention of the oversight chair than, by comparison, what looks like a tussle between the school and its employees. That it doesn't have to get to that, and so I don't know how people will find a clearer head on the side and try to figure out where's the path that we need to go, because we're talking about taking up space and our getting butt hurt that someone didn't tell me something, or it didn't get back to the front office, and the front office didn't communicate well enough to the principal, who didn't communicate with the staff, and then the staff, and it bleeds into the children, because now you're asking kids how they feel. Aren't you really mad that these classrooms are not going to be? Would they have known the difference? Well, probably. Would they have been put out and have to be diverted from one classroom to another? Yeah, probably, because that's what happens when you share a campus. But could they have been presented with a resolution to a situation that was inconvenient for 4 months in order for everybody to get an education with the resources that have to be shared as they are being now? We're sharing resources because we don't have enough space. And could that have been presented in a way where you're looking at it like, let's find the solution? I think we can make it happen, rather than, oh my gosh, this is happening, I didn't know about it. You're inconveniencing, hey kids, how do you guys feel about this? You're getting inconvenienced. I'm not saying that because I think that's the way it happened. I'm saying that because some people on the side of the resolution, let's calm down and let's figure it out, were saying that these kids were drawn into it because they were led there. That instead of it being a conversation about, listen, we're all going to be put out here, and I want to feel everybody's concerns, I want to know what they are on the school level. And so that way we could figure out, how else to make up for our losses, where to adjust, because we're going to need to adjust. This is already happening. And then bring that back to the next chain in the command and say, if we're going to do this, you guys are going to have to help us do this. We're not going to get everything that we had last year, but we certainly need to work it out. If we have to work it out, then we have to work it out. We're already past the part as you didn't tell me. I mean, okay. You know what I'm saying? We're past the point. The fact of the matter is that you didn't get the message. And I can't even tell you how sorry that you weren't informed. But that ship has sailed. Now what? And your ability to be able to adjust to that and get rid of that part of the argument makes it that much easier for you to have a nice, safe, clear celebration of the school opening for everybody at GW. Despite that there's a little bad blood happening here, we just got to, these kids need to learn and see what negotiation and compromise look like. And like the only reason I'm bringing it up again is because I was hearing from those who are in the know and were right there, who said, we were out here hoping that this leadership or whoever has influence, maybe I should say influence over these children, because I don't know who they are, so I'm going to say influence over these kids, we're feeding them the wrong information. Like, oh my gosh, guess what's going to happen to you this coming year? You're going to be put out by a bunch of kids in special education. Doesn't that piss you off? Well, I mean, I'm 17. I'm pissed off at the world already. I can't stand anything at 17. You remember being 17? How much of the world did you care about? Bruh, I didn't care about much. It's like, what? Give me a reason to incite me. Go ahead, give me a reason, and I'm jumping on it because I hate the world. I mean, it's just a thing. It's a thing. They're kids on the cusp of being an adult. They want to make their own decisions, but they can't because they can't. They're not of age to do that, and so they still got to go by somebody else's rules. They're like right there. I'm kind of pissed off at that. They also want to get out of school. Give me any reason to be mad at it, and I am your guy. I am your 17-year-old, 16-year-old. John's on the line. You got a minute for him. Good morning, John.
Hey, good morning, Patty. Real quick, just to add to your topic there, because I did hear Paul, you talking about that yesterday before you ended the show, and apparently, I guess there's one of the CFA officials that called in trying to justify the difference between a private school and charter school, which she stated, GDOE, charter schools are just as equal as a public school, and GDOE, I guess with all that back and forth. So my question is how, is CFA going through all this, and this is, how many years they've been jumping around building the building, right? So my question is what's going to happen after this end of the school year? I know it's a start, but, what's going to happen to them? Are they going to go through the same process? And then my other thing is how did the other charter school procure San Vicente? I mean, if they did, are they all in the same entity? And how did they procure it that quick? Well,
San Vicente's owned by the Archdiocese of Agana, so that's a different...
No, but what I'm saying is how did the charter school procure that building if charter schools are all equal as public school? You know what I mean? If that's what that... I forget her name, but she's one of the CFA representatives that called in on Pauli's show yesterday. So, she was comparing the two, the public school and a charter school, and stating that charter schools are not private schools. They're all equal as public schools, hence why GDOE's having, back and forth issues with, trying to find them a place.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they are still under the purview of Department of Education. They're budgeted.
Yes.
By
So
DOE.
now
Okay.
how did the charter school gain or procure the old San Vicente compound? I mean, you know what I mean? I mean, if they did it that way, I mean, I'm pretty sure they can mirror the process, right?
I see what you're saying. If it's a public school, how were they able to get into private property? I'll answer that. Okay.
And CFA's having a hard time to procure buildings, for the kids. And
I
at the
see
end
what
of the
you're
day,
saying.
the kids are suffering,
Yeah, I see what you're saying, and I will answer that question when we get out of this news. Thanks for calling and asking.
Appreciate it.
Not a problem for me. It is 8 o'clock in the morning. We are KGUM-FM in Dededo, Guam.
AP News, I'm Ed Donahue. Kentucky Republican Senator Rand Paul explained why he led the way to hold Dr. Anthony Fauci in contempt of Congress over his refusal to answer questions at a hearing on his handling of the COVID-19 pandemic.
8 days ago, Dr. Anthony Fauci sat before this committee in the witness chair under subpoena for conduct covered by the President Biden's full and unconditional pardon, reaching back to 2014. Dr. Fauci faced no risk of federal prosecution. All he had to do was tell the truth. More than 100 times, though, he refused.
The Senate committee voted to move beyond a full Senate vote and send the request to the Justice Department. Fauci's attorney said it's Paul's continued vendetta against Fauci. Connecticut Democrat Richard Blumenthal says there is no basis for Paul to hold Fauci in contempt.
His reason for invoking the Fifth Amendment was the chairman saying on hundreds of occasions that his main objective is to put Dr. Fauci behind bars. And he was advised, understandably, that he should invoke his Fifth Amendment privilege rather than be caught in a perjury trap.
A referral from Congress does not compel prosecutors to act. The Food and Drug Administration approved a new flu vaccine for older people, the first made with the same mRNA technology that was key to ending the COVID-19 pandemic. Ohio Republican Senator John Husted is calling on Ohio Republican Congressman Max Miller to resign and abandon his re-election bid. A message seeking comment was left with Miller's spokesperson. He has vehemently denied all allegations of domestic abuse leveled against him by his former wife. Military officials say the majority of American troops wounded in the Iran war have suffered traumatic brain injuries. It's also a signature wound during the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan. Stocks are lower at the closing bell. This is AP News. Attention avocado lovers.
The U.S. announced it has suspended government operations in Michoacan, the cartel-plagued state in Mexico, which is the leading exporter of avocados to the U.S. because of a threat to U.S. interests.
Una suspensión temporal.
Michoacan's governor, Alfredo Ramirez Bedolla, says there's been a temporary halt to avocado inspections there to safeguard workers due to recent extortion arrests. That will disrupt avocado exports. When you think of the danger in Mexico from organized crime, you might not think of U.S. government fruit inspectors, but besides trafficking drugs, cartels also make money through extortion, including of the avocado industry. Over the weekend, Mexican authorities captured a cartel leader nicknamed El Pancho, the leader of the Los Reyes cartel. The U.S. government had offered a $5 million reward for his arrest. I'm Jennifer King.
Dozens of people lined up in a pink church in Amsterdam's Pride Festival to get married today. It is called Married for a Day. I'm Ed Donahue, AP News.
Always here to help you. This island is our home. Through the years we've been a friend to the neighbors we have known. Now we're banking on the future. Services to choose. Bank Pacific, where others put branches, we place roots.
Jack here. Visiting family inspired me to add a Philly-style bonus Jack combo to my menu. Melty cheese, grilled onions and peppers, plus fries and a drink starting at just $5.99.
Yo, Jack, you got $6?
It also inspired me to stop visiting family.
Welcome to Jack in the Box.
Plus tax, limited time only. Price and participation may vary.
Ever dreamed of being on the radio? Now's your chance. Glimpses of Guam is looking for the next generation of on-air personalities to join our family on Wave 105. If you've got personality, creativity, and a passion for entertaining, we want to hear from you. No matter your experience level, this could be your opportunity to be heard across the airwaves. Send your resume and a short demo to jobs@glimpsesofguam.com and start your broadcasting journey today. Join the Glimpses of Guam radio team. Your voice belongs on the air on Wave 105.
Our critically injured veterans and first responders are left behind every day because of inadequate wheelchairs. That's why Wheelchairs for Warriors is on a mission to serve America's heroes across the nation and provide them with custom-fit wheelchairs tailored to fit their needs to ensure they're rejoining their lives at the highest level of independent mobility and function possible. From lightweight daily use chairs or adaptive sports chairs to all-terrain wheelchairs to get these warriors outdoors. Wheelchairs for Warriors serves those who've served us. To join their mission, visit their website at wheelchairsforwarriors.org.
How serious is youth vaping? Irreversible lung damage serious. 1 in 10 kids vape serious, which warrants a serious conversation from a serious parental figure like yourself. Not the seriously know-it-all sports dad or the seriously smart podcaster. It requires a serious conversation that is best had by you. No, seriously, the best person to talk to your child about vaping is you. To start the conversation, visit talkaboutvaping.org. Brought to you by the American Lung Association and the Ad Council.
It all connects. The girl who walks for hours to bring home the family's water, the school she can't attend most days, the breakfast she didn't have, the rain that hasn't fallen in months, the danger around the next bend, her little brother's belly laugh, her mother's hug, her dreams of being a teacher, an engineer, the mayor. All the reasons life is both so hard and so beautiful. It all connects. But so do we, for children's sakes. At Child Fund, we connect through everything we do, together, so every child can grow up healthy, educated, and safe. Because we need each other. Learn more at childfund.org.
As a parent, you said you'd never give up the convertible. Look, the van even has its own vacuum. You said you'd never stop listening to your music.
Do your happy dance, do your happy dance, yeah.
You said you'd never schedule your life around a stuffed animal.
Nobody panic. Bun Bun is still at daycare.
You said you'd never give in to demands.
2 kids' meals and a chocolate shake.
And never put them in harm's way.
I'll be right back, little man. Just gonna pop in the store for diapers.
But never happens. And no amount of time is okay to leave your child in a car by themselves.
Long line today.
Temperatures as low as 60 degrees can be deadly for children left behind. So always bring them with you every time you park the car. Stop, look, lock. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Many of our U.S. veterans and service members face challenges: mental health struggles, housing obstacles, employment, food insecurity, and social isolation, to name just a few. I'm Bob Woodruff. My family and I started the Bob Woodruff Foundation in 2006 after I sustained a life-threatening injury while reporting from Iraq. Our service members had my back that day, and we need to have theirs now more than ever. At the Bob Woodruff Foundation, we raise awareness about the tough challenges veterans and military families face and invest in solutions to help support them in the next chapter of their lives. And with one solution comes the next. We solve a housing situation, we increase employment opportunities. We solve employment problems, we address food insecurity. We solve food insecurity, we impact physical and mental health issues. Learn more about our work at bobwoodrufffoundation.org/success.
So, what's your idea of a 10? I love guys who don't text and drive.
Girls that wait until they're parked to text? Bro, instant 10.
I don't know, but I got the ick when I went out with this boy who texted about driving.
10s wait to send. Eyes on the road, not your phone.
Don't drive distracted. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
Hoppity, everyone. Welcome back. Mornings with Patti. This is the Wave 105 FM. Let's go ahead and hit the streets right now. This will be another quick look at your traffic report. It is being brought to you by Guam Auto Spot. You could schedule a test drive. All you got to do is give us a call at 478-AUTO, or if you'd like to look at our inventory, you may also visit our website at GuamAutospot.com. All right, friends, we got concerning residents on the southern end of the island. It looks like traffic is moving nicely, folks. So we're looking at Route 4 right now, getting around Humatec, Malesu, coming around in Alahan, Malolo, Ipan, Chalampago, as well as our friends up and around Ordot this morning. We got ourselves traffic moving nicely. No delays through Juntya this morning, as well as our folks getting along Route 10. However, we do have some fog in Ordot this morning. Aside from that, it looks like traffic is moving nicely. Sinahanya's going well, as well as our folks in Hagåtña, Mongmong, Totumaiti. We're hopping on to Route 16 north as well as southbound traffic. That's going to be around Guam Department of Rev and Tax. We're getting around Slingstone this morning. In Dedido north as well as southbound, getting in and out of East Sangsong Road, Machechi Road, Bello Road, and for our friends getting around St. Paul's this morning. Upper Tumon is moving nicely, as well as our friends in Lower Tumon this morning. That's going to be Pauly San Vitores Road. So let's watch our speed limit. Heads up, Guam. Our streets are definitely wet. We got scattered showers and thunderstorms this morning. So please, eyes on the roads, not on the phones. No texting and driving on the streets of Guam. Ensure that your seatbelts are fastened. And remember, Guam, seatbelts are sexy. This is your traffic report right here on the Wave 105 FM, and it's all being brought to you by Guam Auto Spot.
We are all for first-time guests and longtime friends. All for First Light and Starlight. For road trips and trail runs. All for mountaintops and monuments. River bends and battlefields. We're all for showing up and giving back. To protect, to preserve, to pass it on. All parks depend on us, and we're all for parks. Join us at nationalparks.org/allforparks.
A message from Joshua Jackson, actor and Fair Volunteer Ambassador.
Food allergy is a serious, life-threatening disease that impacts over 33 million Americans. When your immune system sees certain food proteins as a threat, every bite matters. But here's the good news. There have been advancements in the treatment of food allergies, and with one voice, we can create better awareness. Because in the FAIR community, the disease doesn't own us. We own our journey. Talk to an allergist to understand your options. Visit foodallergy.org/empower to learn more.
We are diving deep into the top secret logbooks of the United States military today to uncover a modern-day encounter with a real ocean monster. Welcome to the National Day Spotlight for August 7th.
While modern skeptics routinely dismiss marine monsters as pure ancient mythology, the high-tech United States Navy encountered a terrifying deep-sea reality back in the year 1978. The frigate USS Stein suddenly returned to port after its advanced sonar array completely malfunctioned deep out at sea, blinding the vessel's vital anti-submarine defenses. When engineers placed the warship into dry dock for emergency repairs, they discovered the specialized rubber protective dome had been brutally shredded by massive, deep gashes. Embedded directly within the ruins were dozens of broken, razor-sharp claws matching the distinct curved hooks found on giant squid tentacles, proving that the real-life deep-sea predators celebrated on National Sea Serpent Day can easily blind some of the most advanced military warships on Earth.
How big do you think that thing had to be to do that?
I don't want to know, quite frankly. I don't even want to
Sure,
guess.
I do too.
Oh my goodness.
That's just creepy scary.
It is.
We're also celebrating National Lighthouse Day and National Water Balloon Day. I'm Alice Anderson.
And I'm Arlo Anderson with National Day Calendar, reminding you to celebrate every day.
If you're looking for world-class website hosting at a fair price, Pair Networks is your best choice. Whether you're a professional web designer or a beginner just getting your site online, Pair Networks has a web hosting plan that's right for you. Log on and learn more at pair.com. That's PAIR.com. Pair Networks, world-class web hosting at a fair price. Visit us at pair.com. Pair Networks.
Registering a domain name on the web? You should know about Pairnick. Pairnick offers .com names at a great price with quality service you expect. Because Pairnick is powered by internet leader Pair Networks. Whether you need a domain name for business or personal use, Pairnick is your best choice. Remember Pairnick when you need a domain name. That's PAIRNIC.com. Pairnic.
Always here to help you. This island is our home. Through the years we've been a friend to the neighbors we have known. Now we're banking on the future. More services to choose. Bank Pacific, where others put branches, we place roots.
Jack here. Visiting family inspired me to add a Philly-style bonus jack combo to my menu. Melty cheese, grilled onions and peppers, plus fries and a drink starting at just $5.99.
Yo, Jack, you got $6?
It also inspired me to stop visiting family.
Welcome to Jack in the Box.
Plus tax, limited time only. Price and participation may vary.
Ever dreamed of being on the radio? Now's your chance. Glimpses of Guam is looking for the next generation of on-air personalities to join our family on Wave 105. If you've got personality, creativity, and a passion for entertaining, we want to hear from you. No matter your experience level, this could be your opportunity to be heard across the airwaves. Send your resume and a short demo to jobs@glimpsesofguam.com and start your broadcasting journey today. Join the Glimpses of Guam radio team. Your voice belongs on the air on Wave 105.
Our critically injured veterans and first responders are left behind every day because of inadequate wheelchairs. That's why Wheelchairs for Warriors is on a mission to serve America's heroes across the nation and provide them with custom-fit wheelchairs tailored to fit their needs to ensure they're rejoining their lives at the highest level of independent mobility and function possible. From lightweight daily use chairs or adaptive sports chairs to all-terrain wheelchairs to get these warriors outdoors. Wheelchairs for Warriors serves those who've served us. To join their mission, visit their website at wheelchairsforwarriors.org.
How serious is youth vaping? Irreversible lung damage serious. 1 in 10 kids vape serious, which warrants a serious conversation from a serious parental figure like yourself. Not the seriously know-it-all sports dad or the seriously smart podcaster. It requires a serious conversation that is best had by you. No, seriously, the best person to talk to your child about vaping is you. To start the conversation, visit talkaboutvaping.org. Brought to you by the American Lung Association and the Ad Council.
It all connects. The girl who walks for hours to bring home the family's water, the school she can't attend most days, the breakfast she didn't have, the rain that hasn't fallen in months, the danger around the next bend, her little brother's belly laugh, her mother's hug, her dreams of being a teacher, an engineer, the mayor. All the reasons life is both so hard and so beautiful. It all connects. But so do we, for children's sakes. At Child Fund, we connect through everything we do, together, so every child can grow up healthy, educated, and safe. Because we need each other. Learn more at childfund.org.
As a parent, you said you'd never give up the convertible.
Look, the van even has its own vacuum.
Many of our U.S. veterans and service members face challenges: mental health struggles, housing obstacles, employment, food insecurity, and social isolation, to name just a few. I'm Bob Woodruff. My family and I started the Bob Woodruff Foundation in 2006 after I sustained a life-threatening injury while reporting from Iraq. Our service members had my back that day, and we need to have theirs now more than ever. At the Bob Woodruff Foundation, we raise awareness about the tough challenges veterans and military families face and invest in solutions to help support them in the next chapter of their lives. And with one solution comes the next. We solve the housing situation, we increase employment opportunities. We solve employment problems, we address food insecurity. We solve food insecurity, we impact physical and mental health issues. Learn more about our work at bobwoodrufffoundation.org/success.
So, what's your idea of a 10?
I love guys who don't text and drive.
Girls that wait until they're parked to text? Bro, instant 10.
I don't know, but I got the ick when I went out with this boy who texted while driving.
10s wait to send. Eyes on the road, not your phone.
Don't drive distracted. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
The views and opinions expressed on this program are those of the show hosts, guests, and callers, and do not necessarily reflect the views of the staff or management of Wave 105.1 FM, Glimpses Media, or our partners. We strive to provide quality, respectful, and engaging content, and we welcome you to participate in the conversation. Thank you for tuning in to Wave 105.1 FM. Enjoy the show.
Island Voices, Island Conversations. Wave 105, the talk of Guam.
About 8:21 now. Good morning to you, and thank you for joining us. The conversation I was making a point earlier before we went off on the break. They were making a point. It's just like that. There's something happening in the Department of Education that there's parts of it that it has escalated to a situation where charter schools looks like the bastardized child of the family, and the charter schools were created by none other than then Speaker Judy Wampat, who was actually the mother of the child, the charter school era for Guam. It was a new concept, but the idea, like to John's questions about how can a funded charter school be able to rent out space or use other spaces outside of these campuses, knowing they don't have it at the schools, while using government funding to do so. And the thing about charter schools, although it's funded by the Department of Education, it is an entity. It is like its own school with its own operating costs and its own budget. It does come from the Department of Education funds, but they support these charters. They support these schools. Operating costs. So they give them their budget. They give them all of the money, basically, and they say, you guys can handle the hiring of your teachers, how that school is going to be set up. All of that you have to pay for. So it's kind of like when a lawmaker, for example, becoming a Guam employee, needs office space, and they go rent it. They rent it from a government building, or they rent it from a private building, and they use the not rent it from a government building, but they rent it out to others. They can be rented out by private owners, and they sign these contracts and they have these leases. CFA's issue, there was issues about ownership and what they were or were not paying at the time, so they ran into some of those problems. So yeah, when they went to San Vicente School, this charter school was well within its rights and privileges to be able to sign a lease agreement with San Vicente School. It was already a campus, so it was a no-brainer. And in the case of CFA wanting to use Chief Brody Elementary School, which also shuttered, it's got the infrastructure for a classroom setting anyway, for a school setting anyway. They just needed some refurbishment, and the government really didn't have a vehicle by which you could make a lease with the school building, because that had happened before, to rent it. What was the way in which they can do that? And I think Joe St. Augustine was one of the senators at the time when they were considering renting out these spaces that would be used for a charter school, the means by which to be able to do that as far as procurement goes. So yes, these schools are government funded, but all of its operating costs or budgets are given to the school. So they have the freedom to hire and rent out private buildings if they want to for their campuses. 25 now after 8. Let's run over to the phone where Stephanie Flores from the Menengun Foundation joins us on the line. Hey, Stephanie, how are you?
I'm doing great this morning. Thank you, Patti.
Oh, it's wonderful to hear you. This has been a long month for the Menengun Foundation. It was a month
for a lot of us for a lot of reasons.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, yeah, I don't even want to start with the election, but we definitely have a month ago that we were in no way possible because it was already the weekend before the storm hit that you were planning on, or was it the weekend of, that the Menengun March was going to be memorialized at Menengun, and that didn't happen. Yeah, so
it was that weekend, and so we wwere watching very, very closely the weather, and actually it was the governor that called me, and she said, because she gets the schedule and she knows exactly what's happening. And she got off the briefing with Landon and National Weather Service and her weather advisors, and she said, listen, you got to move it. You just got to move it because there's no way we're going to risk our war survivors getting sick or getting hurt down there. And it turned out to be the best thing because it was really, really bad weather when we all should have been down, when we would have all been down there. So it turned out for the best. And so we said right away we would postpone it, and our war survivors held us to it. So we agreed to have it this weekend, this Sunday the 9th, at 10 a.m., and it's going to be at Government House. I know we're all watching some pretty yucky weather right now again.
Yeah.
So it's at Government House, 10 a.m. This Sunday.
Okay. And what is actually entailed in honoring these survivors? How is that memorial going to go?
So, for anybody who's been down there, they know that we march in, we do all of those things. We're obviously not going to be able to do that this time. But we will have reflections from two war survivors. Mr. John Beneventi, who is going to be the one to present at Menengun this year. And then we have the granddaughter of Mrs. Gertrude Sanchez, who was going to give the reflection at the Tizan Kalagwek Memorial. So we're going to have both of those because they both got postponed. They will both be able to give their story this Sunday.
Okay.
And so we'll be able to do that.
Oh, that's nice. That's nice.
And
yeah,
it's really, really nice. Our war survivors, this is probably the most participatory memorial that they get to be involved in. That's why they really, really push for it. And so the parts of what we would normally do will also happen. For example, when we fill the fountain with water from the Menengun River, we're going to bring water from the river up to Government House, and we're going to use, we're going to do a symbolic thing. We'll have them participate in something with that.
Okay.
But really, the focus is on the reflection, the two reflections from the two war survivors, and then we're going to have a light merienda where our war survivors will be able to hang out at Government House and talk with their friends. And they enjoy that, and they do that every year. So,
I'm going to just bring in Willie Flores, by the way, Stephanie. He's joining.
He's called in as well.
Yeah. So, good morning, sir. Willie.
Good morning. Good morning, everyone.
Yes, good morning.
Nice to be with you guys this morning.
Thank you for joining us. So you want to add anything or expound on anything that Stephanie said?
Well, I do want to emphasize what Stephanie said is that sometimes we get caught up in the machinations of putting this thing together, and it's easy sometimes, I don't want to say forget, but it's easy sometimes to have how important this is to the war survivors. Be pushed back be pushed back as we're doing all this stuff, all the technical stuff and the logistics that have to be done. But Stephanie is exactly correct. This is a very, very, very important thing for war survivors, and they ask about it every time we meet them.
Mm-hmm.
Most of the time. Every time we meet them, they say, "Are we having the memorial this year? We should have had the memorial." This kind of thing. So. It's something, and as Stephanie said, we are going to try to bring as much of the ceremonial, as much of the meaning of the ceremony as we can up to Government House.
Yeah.
So thank you for helping us get the word out.
Well, I think that the only thing that you guys are actually wrong about when in all of this is that you called it a light merienda. There is no such thing. Y'all need to fix that. That is just y'all lying now because we don't do that.
Well, if you want to know what the light merienda consists of, you are exactly right. Actually, you beat me to it. I was going to say light merienda is
an understatement. Yeah. So, okay, why don't we give them something because they also come for the food. They expect that they're going to be fed. What are we giving them? What are we giving?
Well, there's going to be tamales for sure.
Yep.
Tamales. So and then I think they're bringing. There's going to be Killigwin. I'm pretty sure, and then a bunch of other stuff. But the tamales is the keystone.
You are
there.
so absolutely right. I just found out about Maria from Malesu, right? So everybody knows Maria from Malesu. I don't want to say that out too loud because she's my hookup, right? In fact, this is what's important about this. Willie makes a very fine point about elderly or a manumku diet. That a lot of these manumku, they want to eat something substantial, but a lot of them can't handle the chewing or the swallowing. There's just issues there. Tamales gisu is the perfect food. It is the perfect food for the elderly. They love it. It's chalaquiles in the tinfoil. It's just, it's basically, the only thing you're missing from that merienda really is rice. Might as well just make rice and then call it a lunch.
We will have lots of coffee and projas and pantojas.
Okay. All right, y'all. You know what you're doing. You're doing. We're not serving them crackers and donuts. This is for sure.
No, not at all. Not at all.
Okay. All right. I know, but once you start saying fried chicken and barbecue, then it's a whole, everybody's bringing their families, right? So that's a whole, I get it. Manumku food. It's always great to talk to you guys because you have a corner of this, I don't call it a market. You have a corner of this interest in our community that you guys have kept alive through the foundation. That's like, as they're getting older and as they're dying off, in the back of our minds, we know they still exist. And we're seeing, like, for example, coming up at the Guam Museum on Tuesday, an opportunity for this memorial wall. Right, and for them to see the Guam flag and their signatures of people they know and people that, from families that they might have known from the past. The jarring of these memories, Willie and Stephanie, I certainly don't have to tell you, but I want you to know that as a public and responding to these efforts, when you jar the memories of these folks, it keeps them active. You know what I mean? It gets their brain just having these memories, good or bad. They have these memories of that survival, which is ultimately what we celebrate. So I thank you always for, being so responsive whenever we call and ask you for information. We appreciate it.
Sure. One thing I want to say is that, the folks that help us out, the folks that volunteer for this, especially the mayors, the folks that volunteer for this, including us, including me and Stephanie, have way back in our lives, made promises to our parents and our grandparents, or both, that something we would help, something would be done. So, in one form or another, promises were made that we would do this, and so part of the commitment that the whole group has, is that we made that promise to, and then we feel that promise in our hearts to our people, and so. That's the driving force, and it is 100% volunteer organization. That's what's so beautiful about it.
Yeah, absolutely. That is the beauty of it. So thank you guys for your service. I hope this is going to be a successful event coming up this weekend, and we hope that the tamales is not too pica.
We have both. Good.
I know the person preparing it, so I know it's going to be good.
Okay, well, everybody's got their hookup, right? Everybody's got their hookup. Yeah. I love that about Guam. Thanks a lot, you guys.
Thanks so much. Have a great day.
You as well. Take good care. All right, Willie. It is now 8:34. Should we break? Might as well do it, right?
Sure.
Yeah, they are a good group.
They're a great team.
You know what's also in there, and we tend to say this all the time, but we haven't said it in a while.
Go this year. Are you going to go to them? I like.
Well, I mean, I wouldn't go. I mean, it's a government house this year, so Yeah, I know. It's just that they can't. The vibe definitely, and I think that's what the sad
So
part
much
about
history
it.
there.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Okay, I got you.
It's just weird though because you can't expose them to this rain. These are
No.
a fragile
Understood.
group of, and it's a valley.
Oh, for sure.
And we're talking like flash flooding. That's a nightmare, Dice. The thought of it.
Got you.
Just like bring your own rafts.
Heck, for
There is a time capsule that they
Okay.
placed several years ago, and I think it's not going to be taken out until the year 2050, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
That they put a time capsule, and in that time capsule are CDs
I see.
that Bob Gaith contributed to the time capsule of music from that era, because he was good at that. He had a collection of the 40s music. That decade of the 40s that are very familiar, and whenever they've had these events, they've asked Bob to DJ it basically.
That's pretty cool.
Because he had the collection of music, and I thought that was really cool that they invited that music to be part. Of course, do you even have a CD player? It wasn't that long ago that they placed this time capsule at the memorial. And at the time, CDs were relevant. Right now, do you even have one?
No, I don't.
Yeah.
A CD player? No, I don't have a CD player anymore.
But you know what somebody told me?
I don't have a CD
I
player
think Sean was the one who said that DVD movies are making a comeback.
Yes, that's true.
Is
That's
it?
true. It is. Let's go. Generation Zers are bringing back CDs, libraries. They don't. It's interesting. They're throwing away the Bluetooth and they're going back to the.
Yeah, Sean was saying when we were
Interesting,
cleaning, we were doing a massive cleaning. last
MySpace
week.
is coming back, so that says. Yeah, it is. I mean, folks are. I think a lot of.
Okay, the further fast forward we end up rewinding. That's just
it's
like you reach a pinnacle and you're like, I don't like to be here anymore. I want to go back to the old thing.
Yeah, I think that's what's happening. Yeah, they're like,
but
we're not made for this.
So Sean was saying when we had a bunch of CDs and we were all just looking, we're ever going to listen to this Steely Asia album by Steely Dan, and some of that music is even coming back. And he said, don't throw away the CD. I mean, what do whatever you want with the burned CDs of all of the collection of songs, your library, but don't get rid of the CDs that have the liners in it and that has the actual photo of the album. And it has the original CD in it with the plastic case. He said those are items that people are going back to. It's retro, and now that people are seeing it, there's the value in it. Could be monetary, or it just could be a newfound interest in listening to these CDs, which is sometimes a lot easier. It's tangible music, like it. You know what I mean? In that you're playing it off a CD. The way we listen to music now is all digital. It's all, we don't see the album. It's not visual. It's not, unless you're watching a video of it. You're not holding anything in your hand. You're just, aside from your phone, but you don't have the. You know what I'm talking about. There's
for sure.
There's nothing to connect you physically to that. To the music that you're playing, like in a CD. So he said, keep all of the ones that the original packaging and the original casing and the original CD, because there might be, first of all, a market, or you're going to want to hang on to it because you're going to be cool and trendy. Now you just got to dust off your CD player, wherever that is. All right, we've hit the bottom of the hour. Let's go ahead and take that break. We'll be right back.
I got you.
Always here to help you. This island is our home. Through the years, we've been a friend to the neighbors we have known. Now we're banking on the future. Services to choose. Bank Pacific, where others put branches, we place roots.
Jack here. Visiting family inspired me to add a Philly-style bonus jack combo to my menu. Melty cheese, grilled onions and peppers, plus fries and a drink starting at just $5.99.
Yo, Jack, you got $6?
It also inspired me to stop visiting family.
Welcome to Jack in the Box.
Plus tax, limited time only. Price and participation may vary.
Ever dreamed of being on the radio? Now's your chance. Glimpses of Guam is looking for the next generation of on-air personalities to join our family on Wave 105. If you've got personality, creativity, and a passion for entertaining, We want to hear from you. No matter your experience level, this could be your opportunity to be heard across the airwaves. Send your resume and a short demo to jobs@glimpsesofguam.com and start your broadcasting journey today. Join the Glimpses of Guam radio team. Your voice belongs on the air on Wave 105.
Our critically injured veterans and first responders are left behind every day because of inadequate wheelchairs. That's why Wheelchairs for Warriors is on a mission to serve America's heroes across the nation and provide them with custom-fit wheelchairs tailored to fit their needs to ensure they're rejoining their lives at the highest level of independent mobility and function possible. From lightweight daily use chairs or adaptive sports chairs to all-terrain wheelchairs to get these warriors outdoors. Wheelchairs for Warriors serves those who've served us. To join their mission, visit their website at wheelchairsforwarriors.org.
How serious is youth vaping? Irreversible lung damage serious. 1 in 10 kids vape serious, which warrants a serious conversation from a serious parental figure like yourself. Not the seriously know-it-all sports dad or the seriously smart podcaster. It requires a serious conversation that is best had by you. No, seriously, the best person to talk to your child about vaping is you. To start the conversation, visit talkaboutvaping.org. Brought to you by the American Lung Association and the Ad Council.
It all connects. The girl who walks for hours to bring home the family's water, the school she can't attend most days, the breakfast she didn't have, the rain that hasn't fallen in months, the danger around the next bend, her little brother's belly laugh, her mother's hug, her dreams of being a teacher, an engineer, the mayor. All the reasons life is both so hard and so beautiful. It all connects. But so do we, for children's sakes. At Child Fund, we connect through everything we do, together, so every child can grow up healthy, educated, and safe. Because we need each other. Learn more at childfund.org.
As a parent, you said you'd never give up the convertible.
Look, the band even has its own vacuum.
You said you'd never stop listening to your music.
Do your happy dance, do your happy dance, yeah.
You said you'd never schedule your life around a stuffed animal.
Nobody panic. Bun Bun is still at daycare.
You said you'd never give in to demands.
2 kids' meals and a chocolate shake.
And never put them in harm's way.
I'll be right back, little man. Just gonna pop in the store for diapers.
But never happens. And no amount of time is okay to leave your child in a car by themselves.
Long line today.
Temperatures as low as 60 degrees can be deadly for children left behind. So always bring them with you every time you park the car. Stop, look, lock. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Island Voices, Island Conversations. Wave 105, the talk of Guam.
No ghetto man goes talking that jive around. You don't bang up on my door and wake the whole town. Yeah, you once had my love, baby. But you gave
8:43. Welcome back. It is a Friday. Dice is really looking forward to it too. We had a lot of brain power this week. There's a lot going on. There's a lot of things people need
A lot of emotions.
people need a nap. You know what? People need a nap.
It was quite a week of emotions. Yeah.
It was. So I've been watching a lot of TikToks lately, and I think that they've actually been pretty brazen about showing parts of the female anatomy. And I only do that. I don't mean like in a bad way. I mean an exploitive way. They're actually showing photos or videos of women. This what really got me. Of a birth.
I'm good.
Without blocking out any body parts. It's like I know there was a lot of guys who fainted too, but a water birth, and it really was like raw, that there was no, parts that were, muted out or anything. It was like, I'm like, this is kind of neat from an educational purpose. Plus that I've seen that part of the body, so I kind of know how it works. But it really, I find it to be educational, although some members of the public could be offended by it as much as they can be offended by breastfeeding, which I've also been watching a whole lot of TikToks. And Barbara Moffness, who's my guru on breastfeeding, God, I wish you were around or not so younger than I am when I was birthing my babies, because I didn't get, I tried to nurse Reese. I was young, and I think that's a mistake a lot of young girls make, it's the patience. With Tia, I did it for, equal amount of time. It was difficult, and I just didn't have it in me. Sean, he was a 17-monther. there was a thing. He was still latched on. But I think because it's breastfeeding month, and I wanted to kind of point to that part of the conditioning of, I think there's more of an awareness, would you say, than it was for me 46 years ago, or even 37 years ago, the awareness of breastfeeding.
Things have definitely changed.
Yeah. So, I mean, they're changed in what way? I mean, they changed in the realization of its nutritional value of babies, or?
Yeah, the more science we have and the more we learn about breastfeeding, I think the more popular it's going to become as well. Moms don't understand that if their babies actually transfer enzymes to the mom through the breast and tells her body, oh, I've just been exposed to a sickness. You need to send out some more white blood cells so you can protect the baby. So it's really cool how the body communicates and the baby communicates with the mom through the suckling of the breast for nutrition. So it's really cool.
It is really cool. I mean, what is the greatest to you, because you are a lactate professional, right? Lactation professional. So you would know what are some of the challenges that still need a little bit of work to compel mothers to think that this is the best way to go, other than the fact that formula is crazy expensive.
Well, I think everybody expects that the babies will just come straight from the womb and just go straight to the breast and be able to feed. However, once they're born, golden hour is something that we are imparting now, where the baby gets to lay on the mommy's chest, as long as there's no medical intervention, and the baby gets to explore and move its mouth and smell its mom and experience a birth for a moment, or life for a moment, before they actually get put to the breast. And once they're able to do that, many of them will go to the breast on their own. But so many people think, and not necessarily on their own, sometimes they have to be guided. There's a smell to the breast that smells like amniotic fluid, so it attracts them to that. But sometimes they need a little bit of help. They've never done it before, so mommy might have to compress her breast a little bit. So we don't just plop the baby on and go, here you go, figure it out. It takes the two of them to work in tandem to be able to make it successful. And sometimes just a little bit of a compression of the hand onto the breast to shape it. I call it either a hamburger hold or a taco hold. We relate it to food, so that we can shape it so that it fits the baby's mouth more appropriately. And moms also think, and people think, that baby only sucks the nipple, but they actually go beyond the nipple to the areola, where they can make compression there to help move the milk. So it's the baby's job to transfer milk from the mom to the baby.
Yeah, so I mean, the nipple is similar to the nipple on a bottle. I mean, you don't just use just the end of the tip of it, right? You have to actually place the entire nipple in the child's mouth for it to be able to latch on. I want to ask you another question, and I want to kind of see if this is true about a situation that a good friend had told me about. She was unable to get pregnant, and so she adopted a child. And that she had this contraption that would where she would breastfeed in that a tube was connected to another sac, and an exterior sac that carried another woman's breast milk. and or formula, and she was able to insert her breast with this small tube, and so the mimicking sort of that this blood was this milk was coming from the mom's body. To
Absolutely.
a point where
it's called a supplemental feeding system.
Okay,
Yes.
well, that sounded easier enough than trying to explain it. Thanks. But the supplemental feeding system, but what it did was it also stimulated production.
Yes.
So even if she hadn't birthed a child, she could produce the milk.
Based on her hormones. So she innately has hormones that will enable her to produce milk. Some women may need some help with medications, extra fluids, and things like that, but it is totally possible.
So she told me that it happened, and that eventually her milk came through, and I was like, okay, whatever you say.
True story.
Yeah, exactly. And then, as God would have it, 3 months later, she got pregnant and had twins.
Aww,
so, I mean,
nice.
it was this miracle that had taken place in her family that I was but that part of it, I was like, are you sure that can happen? But she was so excited. I'm not going to, ask her scientific reasons. I was just genuinely happy that she could produce milk not having had that child. And that the child benefited from it overall, the best. But I'm glad to know that happened. So even adoptive parents,
Absolutely.
Can they come to you and discuss the possibilities that their body is prepared for something like that?
They have come to me.
Oh, cool. Tell me about that. What's the scenario?
Well, basically, this woman knew that she was going to be able to adopt a baby within the next 3 months, and so she started around maybe 45 days before the expected due date, and she started pumping her breast for small amounts of time and increasing over time. And then when the baby was born, of course, she was able to go skin to skin with the baby, and she was able to make her milk.
Wow.
So she was actually producing a little bit before the baby came too. So
I just can't. I just think that that's just the most incredible thing. Well, I'm glad to know that not only is it true, but that people actually come to you and have had success. But you're saying that does a woman's body necessarily have to have like the right hormones? It has to be a certain age. I mean, does any of that play into it?
Yeah, of course, hormones do play into it, and occasionally if we get a mom who maybe is having difficulty going to her doctor and having her levels drawn, and then they can make adjustments and give her what she needs, that can potentially help as well, too. So primarily prolactin, oxytocin, other hormones as well, too, play into the breastfeeding.
That's very cool. It's very cool. I tell you what, I mean, we've just come a long way, baby, when it comes to this. And today we're honoring this month of this kind of education that I get. I mean, after having been a mother of 3 and attempting breastfeeding twice and then that really sticking. I almost didn't want it to end when it did, but I'm still learning something about it. And there's much more. Yeah, there's much more. I mean, is it constantly being studied? I mean, are we finding out anything new? Like you did say, there was stuff that was happening that I didn't realize. Like I didn't know that the breast milk smelled like amniotic fluid, so they're drawn to it. That makes sense.
Oh, the areola smells like amniotic fluid. Yes,
I mean, I guess.
No, yes, absolutely. Yeah. Breastfeeding is being studied. Yes, constantly. You can actually go to any one of the databases and look up breastfeeding 2026, and there will be some type of research going on, whether it has to do with mom's production, skin to skin, what we're doing in the hospital, how we can make changes. Absolutely. We're always looking to do better and be better, for sure.
Well, on the opposite end of starting this whole life process of nursing, the other end of that is weaning. Are you involved in the weaning part? Because this is where I think people need you the most.
Yes, and it breaks everybody's heart. Mom, I just recently had a mom who texted me a super long text. Miss Barb, I think Sunday was the last day I fed my son. And she says, I just can't keep the tears from flowing. She says, it feels like I'm grieving. I said, you are grieving. You're grieving this part of your life. Those moments are not going to come back again with this baby. And so, yes, you're moving on to a new chapter. And she says, how do I handle it? I said, exactly how you're handling. Just keep hugging and loving and cuddling your baby and celebrate what you did do. It's an amazing experience.
It's deeply it's deeply intimate, clearly, because now you have now completely physically detached from the survival of this child, right? I mean, if you were its only source of nutrition, ending that period is really a complete weaning, not only for the baby, but for you emotionally and physically, that you are no longer the vessel by which they're surviving, either through pregnancy or breastfeeding. So
I love to see a mom's face when she comes in to get her baby weighed and she's exclusively breastfeeding, she knows she did that.
Yeah. That is so true. There's absolutely something about watching your baby thrive, and it was because of you. No question. Yeah. There is and it compels you to keep on, stimulates you to keep on doing it, giving the confidence. So are you there to also offer like techniques? Because that's kind of the part, you can love and you can, but they're clamoring, they're climbing on, couches and chairs to get to you, and you walk by and they sniff you, right?
And then it's like they jump on you like piranhas.
Exactly. And they're just like trying to get under your shirt like ravenous, right? But they say that some of it, I've been reading about like baby-led weaning, where you start them off on these solid foods so they're less inclined to want it, and stuff like strategies like that.
And also mixing some of their foods that you're starting to introduce them to with your breast milk. That happens as well too. Like if you're going to give them broccoli, you make sure it's nice and pureed, and then you add breast milk to it. That can happen as well too. But also baby-led weaning means to give the baby whole foods and let them play with it and experiment with it at the table.
Yeah, including choking. I've seen that too. I've been watching these babies, and the gag reflex is real. Like you really want to go in there and take it away, or stick your finger down to your mouth. Okay, so there's that part of it, and I've been watching these videos, and I'm in the algorithm.
That's cool.
It's in my algorithm. So, but it's also it's hearkening back to a time. It's emotional, mostly for me. I'm watching these babies. You know that the sound of them swallowing and suckling, and the sound that they make. It's synonymous with a baby cooing. But there's a certain sound of, you can feel it. You can hear them, swallowing. Right. And yes, you know what I'm talking about? That sound.
I absolutely know.
Tell you what, I was starting to get stimulated, like I was like my milk was coming. You know that feeling right before your milk comes in? It's
called letdown.
The letdown is euphoric. To me, it's absolutely euphoric. I've never felt a feeling like that ever in my life than when that milk just is about to come down. Oh, and it's not physical. It's actually very emotional.
It's a chemical response for sure.
Is that what
your body
is?
releases oxytocin, your love hormone.
Oh my God! That's like the part I was like, I've never felt that before. I've never felt that. The very first time was through nursing. So my friend said, I thought you were speaking of me until you said she had twins, but I did this. I said, did you? And did your milk come in? And she said, I did. A tad came in, and this was more with her youngest adopted child. So it happens. I mean, it's amazing that it happens, and I didn't know that about her, and she's a good friend. So good on you for having the experience. That is certainly something. What do you want women to know about? You have a whole month to sort of educate people. If there's anything in all of your years, Bob, of counseling women and working with them, this is not just a woman thing. This is a partner thing. This is a family thing.
A community thing.
Yeah, it's not like as much as help as you get in sterilizing bottles and filling up formula and getting it ready in the middle of the night. Just because you're nursing and you are the only thing that child needs is your human body, there is supportive ways that your partner can be there when you are fighting off sleep or the baby is having a hard time latching on. What's the support look like?
Well, first of all, I wanted to answer your first question. What do I want moms to really know? Yeah. I always tell moms in my prenatal classes that they're going to trust their body for the growth and development of the baby. So when the baby is born, they need to trust the birthing process, but ultimately trust the feeding process. Our bodies were designed and created to sustain our babies, and they just need to trust that it will happen. And if they can stay off of these maybe Facebook or Instagram, because they're comparing themselves with other women, and our bodies were designed to feed our babies. So when we start comparing with other women, then we put ourselves in a different category. So I think they just need to learn to trust themselves. Just take that deep breath and know that you can do it.
Good. That's good advice. And support?
Support. It takes a village, for sure. Their partner, of course, is going to be their first and foremost, and they have to be able to be there to encourage, to help along the way, bring lots of snacks, lots of fluid. Moms need to have their fluid, and moms also need to know that they need to eat. And so people can help in that regard, too, by bringing meals and dropping them off so that she doesn't have to worry about that aspect of sustaining herself, because she needs the food to make the milk. She needs the food to heal her body. She needs the food for daily living. So we need to make sure that those needs are met as well, too. So some people think that the small things are insignificant, but it's the small things make the biggest difference in her success.
Yeah, there's a point as soon as the milk comes in and the baby latches on where there's like a thirst I've never known in my life. You know what I mean? All of a sudden, I have to like grab something, and I'm I'm parched. Like big jugs of water. Something as little as somebody at 2:00 in the morning bringing you a big old flask of water means the world when you can't get it yourself. Just, little bit of advice there for anybody wondering, what are you talking about? What could I do?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the other thing, and you said it, and I say it too, and a lot of us say it, when our milk comes in, the milk is actually available to the baby at birth. It's just in a different form. It's thick and sticky, and we call it colostrum. And I need to, they say change your words, you change your world. I have been for years trying to figure out how do we change that and not say when the milk comes in. And maybe when the milk changes, when the milk progresses. I don't really know the best way to say it, but she actually, in fact, has milk when the baby is born.
Yeah.
But because it's not flowing and free-flowing, she doesn't believe it yet until she has engorgement or she sees signs of the change.
Yeah, that colostrum is everything, isn't that? They say that's like the cream of the crop.
Liquid gold.
Liquid gold is what that is.
That's
That's got everything that baby needs and more. That's probably the best part of the milk was just when that colostrum is dispensed. I tell you, you and I could go on about this forever because we generally tend to go over time. Barb, if there's anything in the middle of this month that you want us to add to the education of women and others, families about breastfeeding, we're happy to participate.
Well, this morning we're having a proclamation signing at 9:30 at Apple. Sunday, we are having a fair at the Micronesia Mall, our annual breastfeeding fair. And on Friday the 14th, there's going to be a wave at the ITC building. So if anybody wants to come out, bring your baby. I don't care how old they are, 21, bring them. If you breastfed them, bring them.
When you're at the Micronesia Mall, for anybody who might be listening or could let somebody know who's having a little bit of a challenge or wanting to hear, would there be a place or a space at Micronesia Mall where there could be people like somebody like you to sort of physically help a woman and direct her or direct the baby, a private place where there is relative privacy for something like that?
Well, normally we do have a tented area where we can take a mom in privately and do that. We can also go to the side a little bit. But I am going to be available. There's other lactation consultants available. We have women from the Leche League and CHAMPS and GMH and WIC, and there's a whole bunch of people that can help.
Yeah.
And I also want everybody to know, if they don't know, I'm pretty much available 24/7. I've made that one of my mantras since I got my IBCLC. So. Yeah. I'm available if anybody needs me.
The last question that I had, not question, but I'd like you to explain further that there are laws that have been crafted in America, and thanks to the advocates like yourself, where legislatures have made it a policy that employers, either private or government, has to allow for there to be a space for women to either breastfeed or pump in their workstations so that they don't have to resort to the unceremonious feeding, on a toilet in the bathroom. It'd be like, hey, sir, you can't eat lunch out here. You got to take your bento and sit on a toilet in the bathroom and eat your lunch. Same concept. but you providing women a place that they can go to that's comfortable and it's convenient for them to have that experience of nourishment.
Yes, we actually have the Nana Zampakan Act on Guam that protects moms and babies with their breastfeeding, and they can breastfeed anywhere that they can legally be. And yes, employers have to make provisions and time and place for a woman to breastfeed that's clean. Optimally, she should have a room that she can go into that has a sink where she can wash her hands and has a refrigerator where she can refrigerate her milk. But we know that's not that's optimal. It doesn't happen everywhere. But you're right. She cannot pump in a bathroom. She can't pump in a locker room or a closet or anything that feels like that because, again, like you said, we wouldn't eat in those places, so we wouldn't expect her to pump her baby's food in those places either.
Thank you. Very, very well said, Barb. Thanks so much for the time, girl, and congratulations on this being Breastfeeding Month on Guam.
Yes, Biba Breastfeeding Month. Thank you, Patty.
Okay, Biba. Susu, I think is what they say. 9 o'clock. Now we're going to go ahead and take our leave for the actual weekend. We've got some programming that's going to be coming up. We've got Dice that's going to be on the show this afternoon in Power 98 doing her thing from 2 until 6 o'clock. Polly going to round out the talk radio afternoon from 2 until 6 o'clock tonight, ending with the last local radio talk show of the week, and that would be Edge of Heaven with Rand Kaufman this evening at 6 o'clock. It is 9 o'clock in the morning here on Mornings with Patty. I'm Patty.
I'm Dice.
It's time for us to take our leave for the weekend. KGUM FM and Dedido Guam. Have a good one, everybody. We'll see you back here Monday. Thanks, Dice.
Viva Guam.
AP News. Good morning, I'm Ed Donahue. The Senate Committee on Homeland Security and Governmental Affairs voted to hold Dr. Anthony Fauci in contempt of Congress and referred him to the Justice Department for potential prosecution. He refused to answer questions from Kentucky Republican Rand Paul's committee at a hearing last week about his handling of the COVID-19 pandemic.
Dr. Fauci faced no risk of federal prosecution. All he had to do was tell the truth. More than 100 times, though, he refused.
Fauci received a pardon from former President Joe Biden. He said during the hearing, Paul was determined to get him to say anything that could vindicate his repeated public pledges that he end up behind bars. Ranking Democrat Michigan's Gary Peters says this sets a dangerous precedent.
If this committee now seeks to punish a witness for asserting their constitutional protected Fifth Amendment rights, future witnesses will argue that appearing before Congress exposes them to punishment regardless of whether they comply with the subpoena and invoke a constitutional protection.
The Fauci referral goes to the U.S. Attorney's Office in Washington. A new study calculates human-caused climate change doubled the likelihood of the tinderbox weather conditions that sparked Canada's massive summer wildfires. Jonathan Boucher is fire scientist with Canada's Forest Service.
The forest is managed. The drought is making most of the fuel available. So if there's an ignition, any fuel or most fuel would tend to burn in those extreme conditions.
Smoke from the fires in Canada have spread into the U.S. Crews have taken advantage of cooler weather to begin getting a handle on wildfires.